Yesterday, the NCAA heard Trinidad Chambliss's case that could grant him an injunction, which could grant him a sixth season of college football eligibility. Welcome into Wire to Wire. He's Cole Bryson. My name is Diesel, and Tolo's already populating on the stream. Jump in on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. Cole, CBS Sports reported earlier today that a path forward has emerged in Trinidad Chambliss's eligibility case, and that there's some optimism around the program that he will be granted his injunction by a court in Mississippi.
I thought last week the tone and demeanor was that it wasn't looking good, right?
Well, it's
and
amazing how a
things
lawsuit will change that.
I'll be honest with you. I did not believe it was going to get anywhere. So
Right.
Here I am, kind of surprised, admitting that I was a little off on this. I did not think the injunction would happen. I didn't think he would be allowed to play. But you know what? Here we are in this world of lawsuits in college sports. This is wild, wild news. But I guess it's good for Trinidad. But the big picture question is, who won, the sport or Trinidad?
Well, I'm going to throw an absolutely insane idea that I think I am the first person to come up with this idea, Cole, for how we could change all of this.
All right, let me hit record.
Before we get there, though, recall that Trinidad Chambliss's argument is that one of his seasons at Ferris State shouldn't count because he had respiratory issues that caused him to miss significant time. The NCAA said he didn't provide sufficient documentation of his ailment to qualify. He has experts, he has his former coaches, he has his former sports medicine specialist saying that, oh no, it was real. So we're just all kind of sitting back waiting to find out what happens. But here is my crazy idea, Cole. Who really gets hurt by Trinidad Chambliss coming back for another season? Who gets hurt? As far as I can tell, there's only one injured party here.
Okay. And that would be?
And that would be the presumptive starter for the 2026 season. They brought in Deuce Knight from Auburn to start. They also have redshirt freshman A.J. Maddox on the team, but redshirt freshman will never start in the SEC. We had the situation with Carson Beck, not too dissimilar from this at Miami. Deuce Knight already transferred there, assuming he was going to play, assuming he was going to start. What if Deuce Knight and the injured parties who are not able to play get notoriety, get name, image, and likeness contracts because they are being squashed by guys that have already exhausted their eligibility? What if they all class action sued? What if Deuce Knight? What if the player that would have been the starter at Miami this year had Carson Beck not joined that roster? And all across the country, as we're seeing this play out in a lot of different places, what if they all class action sued and said, you are limiting our ability to capitalize on our name, image, and likeness by granting additional eligibility to guys that already exhausted all of theirs?
Well, you know what? I think they should. Number one, because it is hurting them. Number two, isn't this very similar to the Oregon situation where Dante Moore officially, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Dante Moore said he's coming back, and this happened like the day after Dylan Raiola said, hey, I'm transferring to Oregon.
Yeah.
So it's Dylan Raiola is a good quarterback. So I think it's a very similar situation. And here's when that happened, similar to the Knight kid. Is that his name?
Deuce Knight.
Yep. Deuce Knight. I felt for Dylan Raiola because now, unless I've missed something that's happened in the last week, now what's Dylan Raiola going to do this year?
They've already signed. They've already signed to go to Ole Miss if you're Deuce Knight. They already signed to go to Oregon if you're Dylan Raiola.
So you're screwed.
And now you're stuck.
You're screwed.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
And you can sue. And as many of these crazy lawsuits as we've seen immediately pick up steam and immediately steamroll the universities and the NCAA, how is this not a legitimate legal argument? How has nobody thought to argue this yet? I mean, you got guys who are locked into NIL contracts, looking at you, Darian Mensah, looking at you, Ferris at Clemson, looking at you, multiple players across college football. They're saying, F you, we don't care about our contract. We're going to go in the portal and we're going to go somewhere else anyway. I mean, Is it nuts to think that this? I'm not a legal scholar. I'm not a lawyer. You're not a lawyer.
Not yet.
Dewey's not a lawyer, even though he plays one on the comment section. Doesn't it feel like this has some merit, like some possibility of actually working?
You talking about on the victim's part with Deuce? Oh yeah, 100%. And like I said a minute ago, that's why I 100% would sue, because it's, and we'll get to this again, similar situation with Tristan Smith at Clemson later in the show in the 5 o'clock hour. Like, I understand both sides, but at the end of the day, if you're in the portal and you go to a school, you've got to look out for one person. You've got to look out for you. And when Dante Moore comes back, you think Dylan Raiola and Dante Moore are just going to say, it's all good. Hey, we'll be teammates. We'll have a good quarterback. No.
Portal's closed. They can't get back in the transfer portal now. It's too late.
And the good thing is with that situation, they're going to say, hey, guys, look, Dante came back, Dylan came in, so we're just going to take those NIL funds and split them 50-50, right? That'll happen.
Exactly.
Right? No, that'll never. So that's what I'm saying. Same thing with Knight. To your point, you said it a minute ago, how much he's going to miss out on now on not only playing football, that's the number one kind of priority. Well, maybe it used to be. But on NIL funds.
Think about it like this. There's a lot of players who are getting paid by their position. Like the starting quarterback on the team will get X, Y, and Z NIL dollars. It's not that Deuce Knight or Dante Moore are such charismatic guys and everybody wants them to be in their car commercial and they're getting NIL dollars based off of their actual name, image, and likeness. They're getting paid for play.
Sure.
They're getting paid to be the starting quarterback at Oregon or at Ole Miss or at wherever. So are they going to get that? Now you got collectives and schools who are going to have to be paying out tremendous amount of money because they already agreed to NIL contracts for guys that are getting pushed down the depth chart by 6th and 7th year players and coming back.
And how do you think those collectives feel? Like if or a business, if I'm the business, right, and I'm the collective in this argument, in this scenario, I'm livid. I'm ticked. I mean, what are we doing here?
You burn somebody with that kind of money, they take it somewhere else.
So I don't know. I think, number one, it's so messy, and it's not only happening at one school now. I will believe that I do believe, Diesel, that I side on Knight's side and Raiola's side a little bit more than I do Dante and
Don't weep for them too hard because they screwed over their programs and went somewhere for a paycheck. So, I mean, it's not like they're victims, but they're not victims.
Sure, yeah.
I think what we're going to have here is an old-fashioned Mexican standoff where everybody is going to be threatening to sue everybody else, and that could be the one thing that normalizes things and says, hey, you can't come back for a 6th year of eligibility because guess what? The guy that's right behind you is going to sue you for taking away his NIL opportunity.
You know, it's crazy where we find ourselves, and we'll get to JB and the Joy Law Firm text line in just a second, Diesel, at 844-326-3663. But I find it fascinating in these kind of uncharted waters that we're in, because here's how I feel about it. And I want to know how you feel and how the Tolos feel out there. I hate this. It's yucky. It sucks. I hate so many things about college sports and college football right now. However, in August, I'm still going to watch the games. I'm not going to not watch because of this, but I just do ask the question. I do wonder what the long-term ramifications will be on this, or will there ever be any ramifications in terms of the dollar and the eyeballs? Because the dollar spent is what keeps the sport going, Diesel. We know that, and the eyeballs on the sport help the dollar spin. Right. So that's where I am. I hate it. Like, I hate the direction college athletics are going. I'm still going to watch. I think that's kind of where most fans feel.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, what if you're a high school senior, a stud quarterback? And it's not just the quarterback position. Desmian Umeazulu from South Carolina just broke his NIL contract to get into the transfer portal, and he's going to Alabama.
And the kid from Cal, the Clemson, to Ole Miss. I mean, it's nasty.
Yeah, you got star players who are taking away opportunities from the next generation of star players, and that next generation should not take it lying down. And that's unfortunately, it's where we are. We're going to end up in a spot, Cole, where these teams, they have no depth. They're so top heavy. The guys are not getting any development. They're not getting any better as players. They're going to go off to the NFL. It's going to start affecting the NFL product. And you could argue that we have already seen that. And people have argued in the past that we're already seeing quarterbacks not being anywhere near prepared to go into the NFL and be immediate starters, which they are very commonly asked to do if they're first-round quarterback players. But you got guys who are not going to be ready. They're going to have 4 or 5 different coaches, 6 different coaches in their college careers, have almost no playing time, maybe a season of playing time somewhere. And all of a sudden, they're going to be asked to go block some Cadillac with legs in the NFL. Good luck, man.
And I think what we're going to get into at 5:20 with the local conversation of this piece, Diesel, with Luke Ferrelli and the Tristan Smith comments on Twitter and all we're going to get to that at 5:20 because it does hit home in a big, big way for Clemson. If you haven't been on Twitter, Tolos, or on X, Clemson Twitter right now is a mess because of what's happening with Luke Ferrelli. So JB on the YouTube stream says, he's talking about the drama between the kid from Ole Miss, Ferrelli, that we're talking about. He said that drama is crazy. He says, I'm hearing Clemson has proof of Ole Miss tampering with him. This whole thing is absurd, says JB. This situation going on at Bama right now with the pro player coming to play for Bama basketball. What's up with that? I guess I'm the only person that wants to chat on the stream. Yeah, you are. Where are the other Tolos at, JB? You're right. Call them out. I like that. Maybe they're a little late on the arrival today. But it does go back to I know we have this conversation a lot, this big picture problem, but all of this just goes right back to that. With the kid that he's talking about at Bama that was playing pro basketball, like Diesel, we are just, I have no idea. And that's why I asked the question about where you stand as a fan, what this does to you. I'm in a spot that I've never been in before where I still love college athletics, but at the same time, I'll be quite frank, I have no faith right now, and maybe I'm just dead wrong. I have no faith that any of this is going to get better. Do I trust the college commissioners of these conferences to just wake up tomorrow, Diesel, and say, you know what, we need to fix this? Do you think that's going to happen? Because that's the only fix.
You realize what we're arguing here is that Dabo has been right all along to do it his way and to not screw his players over by getting transfers to come in and take their spots, by not forcing guys off the team and telling them to enter the transfer portal.
I think what Dabo has stood by, Dabo has seen and feared this, and then I think other coaches out there have as well, but I think the difference is other coaches have said, I don't care, I've got to win.
Right.
And Dabo has said, no, I do care, I'm going to stand by this. Now, Dabo's used the portal this offseason more than he ever has. I mean, he has used the portal in a heavy way. Tom Allen, Diesel, has used the portal this offseason. So I think it's interesting, but you're right. I mean, we just assumed, I think, that we were able to go down all of these paths and there would be no messiness, no sticky situations. You and I have been college football fans for a long, long time. Imagine if, what year is it now? 2026. Imagine if in 2016, 10 years ago, since everybody's doing this 2016 trend thing, if you and I were sitting in these chairs 2016 and I told you, hey, look in your crystal ball, in 10 years, this is where we're going to be. Honestly, as a fan, what would you have said? If I would have told you everything that's happening 10 years ago, hey, this is going to happen in 10 years of this sport, what would your response to me have been?
I'd say, well, I guess I'm going to have to go be a fan of the NFL.
Like that, it's just, nobody likes it.
Right.
Nobody likes it.
The only people that like the situation with Trinidad Chambliss are Ole Miss fans who want to see Trinidad Chambliss run it back. They're the only ones. Yeah. Nobody else likes this. And Cole, I've talked about this before. I think there's far too many fans of college athletics who have been essentially ruined by betting. They're not really fans of the team. They're just fans of some guy getting his stats so that they can win money
100%.
off of them.
Yeah.
They are fans of the fantasy aspect of it, which is, where could that guy go? How much could that guy make? Who could be the starter over there? What if we switch these guys over here? They're into it for that. So there's the fantasy footballization of college fandom is, I think, ruining it for a lot of fans too, because there's a lot of people, man. Anytime you see this stuff pop up on social, oh, well, the coaches have been able to do it. Oh, well, the schools are making all this kind of money. Oh, they make the same arguments, but they don't have anything of substance.
Yeah, and they want, I think, the majority of people to be okay with it because they don't have an issue with it, And look, if I have an issue with it, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, here we are. That's all that matters. Yeah. And I'll say this, to be kind of fair and play the flip side of it at the same time, Diesel, I don't like this situation with Trinidad, but you know what? I'd like to see him next year at Ole Miss again. You know,
I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him.
And I guess that's where that goes back to what I said a minute ago. This is how we are as fans, right? We're just loyal to a fault, right? Because a lot of fans are probably in the same boat as I am. And hey, it kills. And then a lot of people out there probably in the same boat as you are. So how many people can continue to jump from my boat to your boat? That's when I think it starts hurting the sport. But just the selfish side of me, I want to see Trinidad next year because what I saw in the playoffs was awesome. That guy was electric. So, you know, as much as I love football, I want to put my blinders on. And you know what it almost feels like? It almost feels like on Saturdays, Diesel, when I watch college football now, you have to turn the volume down, right? You have to turn your phone off, flip it over. You have to put your blinders on like this, and you have to watch that game with no volume, no social media, no commentary. Like if somebody just woke up and watched college football, they'd say, oh, it's still a good product, but all of this on the outside, I think, is where we just have lost our way a little bit.
So Trinidad Chambliss was an amazing story, right? Coming out of D2 Ferris State and doing what he did. Nobody expected this to happen, and he was supposed to be the backup all season long. What if this story gets ruined by a weak 2026 season? I mean, he's still going to be a great player.
Yeah.
But he's got an all new coaching staff. Some of his teammates are going off to LSU. Some of them are graduating. So it's just going to be different. I mean, how many back-to-back champions or how many back-to-back college football playoff run teams do we have on an annual basis? Not that many. So there's a very good chance that he ruins
100%.
His legacy by doing this.
Well, I think what we are guilty of, kind of going back to what I said on Tuesday, Diesel, with Kirk Herbstreit, I think we're guilty of just assuming Chambliss, as good as he was, will be, number one, that good next year, and number two, back in the same spot, right? We're assuming that Ole Miss is going to be right back in the college football playoff when that's just simply probably not going to happen when this Indiana NIL portal era that we live in, Diesel, where everybody can use this thing. So that's where we go wrong. We just assume that Ole Miss and Chambliss will be another great story next year.
JB on the stream says Chambliss will get his 6th year of eligibility and immediately transfer to LSU. Well, he can't. Number one, he's got an NIL contract with Ole Miss. Not that means a whole lot, but the transfer portal window is already closed. He can't go into the transfer portal now. It's too late.
It's too late. Let's go to the phone lines, 844-326-3663. Delvin wants to chime in on the conversation. What's up, Delvin?
Yeah, I talk college football to several for but guys, Cole, what do you think about our new defensive coordinator? Who I haven't heard of.
Delvin, I'll be honest with you. I talk sports every day. I've never heard of him either. He is from Philadelphia. His name, I'm having to look again. Christian Parker. Diesel, have you heard of Christian Parker?
Not until I read it on Twitter earlier today.
I think you're in the same boat. Here's where I am. I'm optimistic because I didn't think Brian Schottenheimer was going to be a good coach. I thought offensively Brian Schottenheimer was phenomenal this year. So I'm going to do the opposite of what I did, Delvin, with Schotty. I'm going to give it a chance. There's a lot of people in the NFL circles that talk highly about this guy.
Yeah, I'm giving him 10 too. I'm just nervous that he haven't called plays before.
He's never called plays. He's the safeties coach and passing game coordinator for Philadelphia.
Yeah.
What better place to learn than as the OC of the Dallas Cowboys?
Thanks, Delvin.
Thanks, Delvin.
Good stuff, Delvin. I don't know. Matt Eberflus was terrible. There's no doubt. Eberflus was absolutely horrible. Cooper DeJean tweeted about it, and he said, man, they got a great one. I wouldn't be the player I am today without Coach CP, talking about Christian Parker, the new DC. He was the DB's coach for Vic Fangio with the Eagles. This is his first DC job, 34 years old, young coordinator in the NFL. So I don't know. I don't know where this Chambliss situation lands, how it figures itself out, but I just know that Diesel, the good news about all of this is with college athletics, you and I, for as long as we do this show, whether it's 2 weeks or 2 years or 2 decades, we're never going to run out of content now with college athletics just because of these things are going to continue to pop up.
Well, I saw Charlie from WRD in the studio in the hallways yesterday, and I said, hey, what's the outrage of the day? I said, if there was no outrage, we'd have nothing to talk about.
It's true.
You know, we need crazy stuff to happen.
I don't know. All I know is, it's all messy, and you have to just kind of get on that boat and float down the river with it and until somebody comes and saves us from it. But that's where we are. Diesel, let's talk Gamecocks in the very next segment. Lulu Kesson of the Greenville News. She's fantastic. We'll be joined by Lulu next. And Tolo's out there. Programming reminder, Wire to Wire tomorrow will be very short. It'll be like 6 to 7-ish, keyword.
It's going to be one wire.
Wire.
No, not wire to wire. Just
That's right.
One wire.
It'll be literally like 6 to 7-ish because of Furman basketball now playing tomorrow at 3. Pre-game show will be 2:30 with Dan Scott. Burns basketball at 7. So Diesel and I will pop in for an hour-ish tomorrow. Quick programming note there. But Lulu Kesson, Greenville News next.
Bryson and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Well, the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks might have taken a step down in competition this week, Cole, but the performance has not stepped down at all. A 90-48 victory on the road at Coppin State in their last outing. But as we're talking to Lulu Kesson of the State newspaper, Lulu, I want to go back to that Texas game that we were talking to you about the night, I think it was the night of or the night before it played. I want to get your thoughts on how that game ended. South Carolina had a 3-point lead. They get the ball inbounds with something like 8 seconds to go on the clock, and Texas just lets them dribble it out. What did you make of the ending of that game? I mean, that seems like a very obvious foul and keep the game alive scenario, but they were just happy to get out of there with a loss.
That ultimately, I think that ultimately at the end, there was sort of a little bit of okay, South Carolina was going to win this game. Do I think Texas should have maybe so obviously not fouled in that moment? No, but I think that in sort of the exact play design where I think it might have been Joyce Edwards, it might have been Raven Johnson, I can't fully remember off the top of my head, but sort of made a really nice cut to get the ball, and Rory Harmon was just pretty overextended and sort of just whiffed in a way, trying to make a good effort play. And I think in that moment, it was okay, do I sprint back down the court and chase her and foul when, it feels as though they have won the game? And so that's sort of what I make of that moment. I think the final score maybe depicts a little bit closer than the last minute and a half felt, which I understand a 3-point game is a 3-point game, but it sort of turned into the long kind of foul game in the last 2 minutes. And when Madison Booker missed a 3 on an inbounds play, it sort of felt like Texas was, I guess, kind of acknowledging that they had lost.
Lulu, it's really interesting when a team like South Carolina, as good as they are, takes down a team like Texas as good as they are. I wonder from the fan standpoint, and again, admitting that I'm not anywhere on any level to any of these coaches as talented as they are and as much as they know about the game of basketball, but when you beat a team like Texas in the middle of the season, it feels like it could be the mountaintop of all wins because it's a Vic Schaefer-led Texas team. We know how many times these two teams have, faced each other in the postseason. In your experience covering Dawn Staley, how does she continue to keep this team grounded after such an emotional high?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that kind of the cool thing, and not from a South Carolina fan perspective, but from a reporter perspective, the SEC is so good this year. I do think that Texas is one of those teams that just really challenges South Carolina in all level, every area, every level. They just have so much to work with on offense and on defense. And I think that the upcoming, assignments, I should say, for South Carolina players against a team like a Vanderbilt, an Oklahoma, a Texas A&M, a Kentucky, and LSU, those are very specific to a position. I think Texas is one of those teams that just challenges all 5 players at all 5 times. So to answer your question, I think the reason why Dawn's able is because nothing is sort of expected. Everything is earned. They don't go into it assuming, we're going to beat this team by 40 because we did this against them before. They acknowledge that every team is different this year, and the SEC is so hard, and they kind of can't take a playoff because constantly teams are going to play South Carolina like it's their Super Bowl. When you get to a team like an LSU, a Tennessee, a Texas, a Kentucky, those are games where it's evenly matched. You might get a team, play you all 4 quarters, but when you have sort of these lower level SEC teams that haven't maybe had a winning season in a couple of years in the conference, you're going to get their best effort in the first quarter, and sometimes an entire quarter can be a difference maker. So I think Dawn knows hey, every quarter matters, every play matters, and that team definitely buys into that concept, even if maybe it's not as, big of a marquee game and they're coming off a game where, they played incredibly well and picked up this really statement win like they did on Thursday.
Lulu, apologize for the noise here. We're on location today, and it's a little wild inside of this Ingles market. Talk about Alicia Turnabize, who's 6'7". Being that size in college basketball for ladies isn't uncommon. There's a 7-footer playing at Texas Tech, a couple others out there playing at 6'5" or better. But from what you've seen of all those players and their athleticism and what you've seen of Alicia so far in her limited appearances, how does that kind of size play out in women's college basketball? Is it Is it sort of detrimental in the sense that it slows some of these players down considerably?
I'm not saying this as if she is better than Lauren Betts, but you look at someone like a 6'7" Lauren Betts, who's a really great traditional center. I think Elisa Turner, I think what she'll bring at 6'7" is a lot different in a very cool way. She's incredibly fast and she can dribble the ball down the court, which is uncommon to your point about sort of when you have a lot of height, it slows you down a little bit most of the time. But she has a really, really, really good outside jump shot and she can shoot the 3-pointer. She just diversifies what Dawn Staley has from a forward. And I think she brings a lot to like a high-low game with a Joyce Edwards and can even play on the court with, 4 other guards and she's the 5, she's the center, but she can also play anywhere, honestly, from like a 4 to a 3, sort of a small forward shooting guard position. So I think that it's going to take time, and Dawn sort of teased that today. Like it's going to be hard to get everything that she can give in a short amount of time, but they're just going to kind of chip away, see what she can get, see how comfortable she can get and she can be. But, the sort of long game, long term, she just brings so much more than a typical 6'7" player does because of her ability to run the floor and shoot the ball.
Lulu Kesson of the Greenville News joining us right here on the Fan Upstate. I want to switch gears, Lulu, over to football. Now that South Carolina fans have kind of taken a few days and seen what Shane Beamer and company have done in the portal and in the last few weeks, where do you think Gamecock fans will stand, or will land rather, in terms of what they did in the portal and how that equates and translates into what those preseason expectations may be?
Yeah, I think if you look at the best season that Shane Beamer had, who he brought in the transfer portal, I don't think people were maybe looking at in the preseason assuming that was going to be a 9-3 regular season. Players like Cal Kennard, Demetrius Knight Jr., those were absolute difference makers. Torricelli Simpkins on the offensive line. So I think the best thing that Shane Beamer could have done, yes, is pull in some big names in the portal, but is to sort of check every box that he needed to. And he assembled a really, really veteran offensive line. I don't know exactly how their game is going to translate over in South Carolina's system, how it's going to be with Lenoris, but regardless, the amount of snaps that these offensive linemen are, have and are coming in is really big. And Shane bringing in a tight end, it was late, but it happened. I guess the wide receiver room was okay beforehand. He's made it better especially after losing Vandrevius Jacobs. And I think with the running back situation too, like the best thing in some ways that Shane needed to do to settle worries and to sort of stop the fire Beamer energy and things like that, kind of the pit of doom and despair people were swimming in last year, is to say, hey, I'm listening. Hey, I'm looking at our roster, and hey, I'm bringing in people that have the potential to be difference makers. I'm not expecting these 18, 19-year-old freshmen and sophomores to lead the way. I'm able to bring in people who want to compete like he did, in my eyes, the year before heading into 2024.
Lulu Kesson, the Greenville News, sticking there with football. Are there lessons that you believe Shane Beamer could take from what Curt Cignetti was just able to accomplish at Indiana? I know the SEC is a different bear with just elite talent every single week. That's not to say that the Big Ten doesn't have it. I think it's getting better across the board, but it's not quite, top to bottom, the same conference that the SEC is. In your mind, is there any way that a strategy like Curt Cignetti's, which is bring in elite mid-major talent and really kind of coach them up in a different way as opposed to seeking the 4 and the 5-star guys, could find success or at South Carolina, or is it just, in your mind, impossible to do that in the SEC?
No, I definitely wouldn't say it's impossible, and I think we can all learn something from what Indiana did, and I think any SEC team can. I think the sort of mentality that, that can't be done in the SEC is sort of a weird excuse, and I'm not suggesting you said that, but like I've seen that afterwards, and it's like, why not? It's sort of, at the end of the day, there are elements to football that everybody has to master in order to be successful. And I think that it doesn't necessarily mean one conference requires something different than the other. Yes, I will argue and support the, belief that the SEC is incredibly challenging and a week-to-week schedule differs in the Big Ten than it does in the SEC, then the ACC, then the Big 12. There's so many different elements at play. But I do think, like, in some ways, Shane has always been somebody that sort of was able to find these like diamond in the rough players, these players who maybe were overlooked that he believed in. And because he has such a good ability to connect with his players and he has very close personal relationships, I see that as sort of an advantage in the same way that Cignetti was able to bring in these people that, you know, weren't making headlines in high school, maybe weren't even making headlines in their first few seasons, but he knew the foundation that they had and wanted to help them get there. And I do think that Shane probably in some ways is realizing or has realized that, you know, he's capable of doing that and probably will try to continue to do so.
Lulu, you know, it's really interesting when kind of a follow-up to Diesel's question, but in a different way. When you talk about talent evaluation, I would be fascinated to know, and maybe you can speak to this on a certain level, being there every day, boots on the ground, but what Shane Beamer's talent evaluation process looks like compared to a guy like Curt Cignetti, because you said it. He did get older on the offensive line. He got more guys who had snaps under their belt, right? And if you look at Curt Cignetti's team that just won the national championship, they were a very veteran team. In fact, they weren't far off on average age from an NFL team. So do you think there's a lot to be said for the chasing of the 5 stars and the 4 stars like Kirk Herbstreit talked about just a couple of weeks ago versus the approach that Cignetti took and that Diesel was hinting at maybe with Beamer of getting guys in and evaluating their talent regardless of what star level they have and maybe developing that older roster that can be an advantage in a very tough SEC?
Right. And I think it's sort of a double-edged sword because I'll sort of acknowledge, I think that like you look at a player like Rasul Faison who had really high expectations because of his age. And I'm going to be honest, it didn't really work out. I think to anyone's sort of ability or hope, it didn't work for whatever reason. He didn't produce the numbers that Rocket Sanders, you know, did the year before. But I do think that from the veterans perspective, like something that I continuously sort of checked in with Shane about all season was like, do you feel like you have some leadership, some vocal leadership? Do you feel like these players, and while some were a little bit older, it was a really young team. And I'm sort of always willing to die on the hill in sports that like you need a vocal leader, you need a couple. And I think that's why it was okay that Lenoris was quiet his first year, because he had really, really loud older voices around him. And last year he just couldn't have that anymore. And they left, they went to the NFL, they graduated, and that wasn't around him. And so you point to a quarterback, yes, Lenoris has to step up and be a veteran leader, but also you need those pieces around him. And I think that, you know, obviously Mendoza is probably a little bit more talkative than a Lenoris in, you know, what we see. But at the same time, like he also had pieces around him that elevated his leadership abilities. And I think that Shane probably recognized, and I do think he admitted that towards the end of the year, like we need some older guys. We need some people who have played games. Because yes, a freshman can be an incredible talent, but at the end of the day, like experience carries so much weight.
That's a good point.
Lulu Kesson, the Greenville News. Earlier today, we had Ashley Chastain Woodard on the show. I know that obviously you cover the women's basketball team and football. I don't know for sure. Apologies if softball is on your beat, but I have seen you tweet about them. True or false? Softball games are more fun to go to than baseball, and also kind of give us a sense of your expectations of what this team could be this year in her second year coaching.
Yeah, I do a little bit of both baseball and softball, but to be honest, I'm sort of tied with basketball through most of the spring. So I'm late in my typical coverage of either team, but I mean, yes, at least last year. I mean, the softball games were so fun to cover because you sort of saw the beginning of what I think is a really bright future. And being a first-year head coach is incredibly hard. I know that obviously she came from Charlotte and this wasn't her first rodeo, but still with the transfer portal, with revenue share, there's so many elements to coaching that didn't exist 12 months ago. And it's really cool to see that, you know, everything the softball team did and everything that Ashley did, and I think will continue to do this year. I think overall, the things that she said, you sort of like, not that I know anything about coaching a softball team, but covering so many coaches and seeing who succeeds and who doesn't, it sort of felt like she was constantly saying the right thing and preaching the right thing and feeling like her team understood her in a way that maybe, you know, first-year head coaches don't always get right away. And impressive what she did. Even I think if she doesn't have quite as much success this year. I think it's still sort of an upward trend for what this softball team is going to do. And, it's a historic program with a lot of success previously. And I think that she'll continue to elevate it. And that's always good for everyone on campus. A lot of the women's basketball fans translate over to softball, I've noticed. So I think that's sort of fun too. They really want other women's sports to succeed on campus.
Lulu, you are the best. So much appreciate your time and flexibility today. We will do it again next week, and have a great weekend.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
When we come back, Tolos, what are you seeing out in the world today as you are trying to gather?
The ball's in your court. Sound off now at 844-FAN-PHONE.
This is Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
You know, Cole, one would hope that having gone through Hurricane Helene, having gone through COVID, all that in the last 4 or 5 years would have taught us something as humans, as a species. But nah, it hasn't taught us anything. As we are all bracing for what is being described as an apocalyptic ice storm coming our way this weekend, Cole. I decided this morning to go out and see if I could top off my grill propane tank.
Okay.
Just
one, not 9.
Just
Okay,
one.
okay,
It's mostly full. I just top it off. So I go by my local Ace Hardware. They got one of those things they can refill your tanks at the store. I get there, Cole, and the line's like 30 people deep. And I'm there at 9 a.m., by the way. They open at 8. My fault for getting there an hour late.
Yeah, you should have been there at 7.
Yeah. I'm not getting up at 7 o'clock for anything. I'm going to tell you that right now. But here's the problem, Cole. Here's what I saw. The guy, 2 dudes in front of me, was moving, inching closer and closer to the refill station with 5 of the 20-gallon or 20-pound propane tanks. That's the standard size that you would put into a grill.
Okay.
5. We just went through COVID where people were hoarding toilet paper. I toured a house. We were looking at buying a house during COVID, and there was a house that every nook and cranny was stuffed with toilet paper.
Oh, like gold.
Yeah. People were hoarding toilet paper. People were out searching for gasoline during Hurricane Helene, and now we got people showing up at the propane refill station with 5 tanks to refill.
How do you carry 5 tanks?
That's a great question.
I mean, my God.
Here's the thing. This guy was at least smart because he stood in line by himself for the longest time until he got relatively close, and then he said, hold my spot, I got to go get my tanks. That way he didn't have to move them all
that's a
the
douche.
whole time.
That's a douche move. You know what I think they should do? They should say, like, limited. You know how they did with ammunition during COVID?
You get to fill 1 tank.
That's
tank.
it.
But it just shows you, number one, people are douches. People show up with 5 tanks to refill. I mean, come on. Let's say the power goes out and you gotta use your grill for everything. You're gonna use 1, maybe 2 tanks max.
And one will last
over multiple days.
1 tank will last a long time.
Yeah.
So let's say the power goes out for 3 days, which
that's a tank.
Would be bad. That's a tank.
That's a tank.
That's if you use it every meal for 3 days. And you're probably not going to use it every meal for 3 days.
And the guy in front of him had 3 of the 30-pound tanks.
God.
I mean, like, good Lord.
I've never seen
How long? It's the one that's like slightly taller.
Oh, okay.
How long do you think the power's going to be out?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ludicrous. When I was getting a little gas for my generator last night, somebody had 6 5-gallon tanks,
That's
5-gallon gas cans
tanks
to fill up. What do you need 30 gallons of gas for? Unless you're buying it for the whole damn block.
Well, here's my only thing with that, and I'll say this. I don't have an issue with hoarding that kind of stuff if you do it in advance.
Sure.
If you want to have 10 gallons in your house or garage, whatever, more power to you. But don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Right. I had no problem getting gasoline last night. I had to wait for 1 car in front of me because I had to get the ethanol-free fuel for the generator.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't have to stop and wait for anybody to get gasoline.
Well,
if I just needed it for my car, I could have pulled right up to a pump, got gas, and been just fine.
I might be, regretting this, but I'm on the complete opposite side of the spectrum from the people that you talked about at the Ace Hardware who were in line hoard. Diesel, I have not done a single thing. I haven't gone grocery shopping. I haven't gotten any gas. I think I'm on a quarter tank of gas right now in my car.
That's
right. I don't have a generator. I don't have anything. So I am on the total opposite end that where if I get screwed, you know what? I deserve it because I didn't prepare.
Well, it's just sad that we got people panicking over this. You're panicking. You're hoarding. You didn't learn anything. I said, you know what? I got enough gas in the tank. I'm just going to get out of here and let somebody else have it. I don't need it. It's fine. You can have it. I'm not waiting in this line for an hour and a half to get a half a tank of propane.
Texter on the Joy Law Firm text line said, I work for Ingalls. Y'all have no clue how bad of a-holes people are. I can't believe the upstate needs any more groceries. It's crazy. It's wild. It is. But again, the South's always been this way when these weathermen get on here in social media and strike fear into everybody. This is what happens.
Dewey says on the stream, I think it's Chris Justice's fault. Of course, we know, Dewey. We know that you think it's Chris Justice's fault. But here's the thing. I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that it is the weatherman's fault. I believe it's our fault. I believe we're soft, Cole.
Well, I just think we
live in a, here's my opinion. We live in a Goldilocks zone where we get weather, but it's not the extremes of weather that other places get, right? We get heat, but it's not that bad. We get cold, but it's not that bad.
Sure.
We get hurricanes outside of Helene. They're usually not that bad. We don't get tornadoes very often. We don't get tons and tons of snow. We're kind of sitting in that good little pocket. And so we don't know how to handle it when that everyday occurrence, if you live in Minnesota or Michigan or places like that, happens. We don't have a clue how to deal with it, and we freak out.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, but I also kind of agree with Dewey that, like, I know it's their job. The reality of it is the weatherman's job is not to be right. The weatherman's job is to do what Diesel and I do every day. We try to create content, and we try to get engagement. And look, if you're mad at the weatherman, that's fine, but you got to understand their goal is not to be right. Their goal after this weekend, you go to Chris Justice or whoever it is, and you go on his Facebook Insights, and you see how much engagement, new followers, money, whatever from those posts. It is absurd, Diesel, how much engagement those guys get. So weather in our neck of the woods is just an engagement farming game. That's all it is. I mean, they don't know.
Do you think, though, they should blow it out of proportion because most people don't pay attention to it if you don't?
I would rather them blow it out of proportion and people be prepared than them not cover it and then people not be prepared.
I mean,
right?
we had callers and texters during Helene or after Helene say, "Oh, I didn't even know there was a hurricane coming."
Yeah,
brother, they've only been talking about it for the last 2 weeks. If you didn't prepare, that's your fault.
Diesel, let's get fun in this very next segment. We don't do this often, but PBR, not Dewey's PBRs in his refrigerator. Professional bull riding coming to Greenville next weekend. Ezekiel Blue Mitchell. He's a professional bull rider. He'll be in Greenville next weekend, and Ezekiel Blue Mitchell joins us to talk PBR bull riding next right here on the Fan Upstate.
sports talk from start to finish.
You're going wire to wire
With Diesel and Cole Bryson.
on the Fan Upstate.
All right, well, let's bring it local in this very segment, as next weekend, Friday and Saturday in Greenville, right here in Greenville, we will get to see PBR in Greenville live in action, and we cannot wait. And with that being said, we're joined by Zeke Mitchell. He is a professional bull rider. He learned the sport on YouTube, a very unique path he took to PBR, but he has become a mainstay on the world's top bull riding tour, finishing inside the world's top 30 4 times and playing a key role for the Austin Gamblers and PBR teams in the league's opening 3 seasons. Zeke, how the heck are you, man?
I'm blessed. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Diesel and I going to bounce a few questions off of you and talk about the event that's happening right here in Greenville next weekend, man. But I've got to know, before we get into bull riding, I was on your Instagram page, and just because I saw this, I've got to let you know I'm also a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan as well, and it's good to talk to somebody with something in common. What are your thoughts? Have you heard about the new defensive coordinator that Dallas has hired?
No, I had not. I hadn't been on my phone here in the last few days, so I didn't see it yet.
So it came out just a few minutes ago. Cowboys hiring Eagles secondary coach, passing game coordinator Christian Parker. He's a young guy, early 30s, a name that most people didn't know of, but I don't even know. Do you know the name Christian Parker?
I do not know that name, but anything to help our DBs, that'd be great.
Well, Zeke, how do you feel about your new guy coming from the Eagles, though? I mean, there's a little heat between those two teams.
You know, let bygones be bygones. As long as he ain't coming over here to sabotage,
that's right.
We'll be just fine.
Zeke, tell our audience about you, where you're from, and how you got into professional bull riding, man.
I'm originally from a small town in Texas, Rockdale, Texas, and I got into bull riding because of my dad. My dad was a horse dentist, so when we'd go to rodeo, the build clientele, it just something that was always I was always attracted to and drawn to. So it worked out one way or another.
So Zeke, explain to us how you learn how to bull ride by watching YouTube. That seems like, you could learn to play chess or learn to crochet on YouTube. But when you've got a multi-1,000-pound animal with a mind of its own underneath you, how do you learn that from YouTube?
Well, I didn't have anybody in my family, in my immediate family, that were bull riders. So what would I do? I just go on YouTube and type in the basics of bull riding. I built a barrel in my backyard. Also built another one with the guy down the road from me, and I just emulated those moves that I seen on those barrels. I mean, on those videos on those barrels, and then eventually it just all became what it is now. I just kept working at it. I had a lot of people that stepped in along the way and helped sculpt and mold all those things I learned on YouTube. But that was it.
Zeke, when you're talking about that, I kind of equate that to, in this new modern era of NASCAR drivers learning to drive on the simulators. Would you say, again, you're a professional bull rider, would you say it's easier to learn NASCAR on a simulator, or it's easier to learn bull riding from watching YouTube as you did?
I would probably have to go with NASCAR on the simulator. I think that's a little safer. And I don't think because eventually you have to get on those bulls, and they got 4 hooves and horns, and some of them know how to use them. So I'd go with just getting in the car. You can at least take that slow until you get it all get comfortable and fill it out.
Talking to Zeke Mitchell, professional bull rider. PBR coming to Bon Secours Wellness Arena January 30th and 31st. 8 o'clock show on Friday night, 7 o'clock show on Saturday night. Zeke, I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that every single bull, 100 out of 100 bulls, have a bad attitude. Have you ever hopped on a bull that just said, no, I'm not into it today. I don't want to spin. I don't want to buck. I don't want to snort. I don't want to stomp. I don't want to do anything.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you can run across some of those deals. But a lot of times those bulls are taken so well care of. a lot of times it genuinely doesn't happen, but some days those bulls have a bad day. But the animals are taken so well care of. They can kind of tell when those bulls aren't feeling good or not feeling right, and they'll pull them out of competition because they care so much about them. So most of the time we don't have that problem with the bulls wanting to not do their job.
Zeke, when we watch football players and young kids grow up, they practice football, they play youth league, they play middle school and high school ball. And then, during whether they're in college or pro, they practice football during the week, during the season. How does someone get into bull riding, and what does practice look like for you and somebody else in your profession?
Well, we have, like I said, those barrels. They're kind of, that's what we call them, but they're just kind of like a different version of a mechanical bull. It doesn't really do all the spinning and all that other stuff, but it helps us work on the fundamentals. And then it's just actually getting on the bulls. That's the only way to really learn how to ride bulls is to have seat time, and that's to get on them. Other than that, we some of us work out, some of us don't, and it's just all an experience. It's something that you can't really even describe.
So Zeke, a quality run is such a short amount of time. I mean, it's crazy. What constitutes a great run on a bull? How do you know? At what point of it in a ride do you know, like, this is going to be a good one? I've got my setup just right, my grip is just right, and I am able to master what this bull is doing.
Sorry?
Zeke, are you with us?
I think we lost him for a second.
Yeah, I lost you.
Okay.
I lost you for a second.
I got you back. My question was, with a quality run being a short amount of time, how do you know, or at what point during a run, or can you even know that this is a good run? Like, you got your grip just right, you got everything just right, and you're feeling it today.
Most of the time, before you get on your bull. Ultimately, bull riding is a choice. Once you've figured out the basics of it and you've got the fundamentals down pat, it's all muscle memory and reaction. So if you're in control of your mind before you get on and you can do it, you pretty well can bet that's when you figure out you got it down.
Zeke, before we let you get out of here, man, what would you say to those here in the upstate, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, listening that hadn't made plans yet but may be interested after hearing you talk and getting them to come out to Bon Secure next weekend to see you guys?
Oh, well, this will be, I think, my third year in a row going to Greensville. I won it the first year I came. Second year I didn't win it, so I'm back to get my title back. Anybody wants to come out for 2 nights of 2.5 hours of action-packed family fun action, that's the place to be, and you heard it here first.
Love it. That is, we're talking to Zeke Mitchell, Blue, professional bull rider. Can't wait. I know a lot of our Tolos are big into that kind of stuff, so you're going to see a big contingent of our listeners out there. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Absolutely. Zeke Mitchell. Good stuff there. Have you rode a mechanical bull before, Diesel?
Only once in college, and I don't want to talk about it.
Not a good experience?
Come on. I think I threw up everywhere after that one.
You threw up?
Oh, well.
After watching riding the bull?
Well, it wasn't so much the bull. It was what was inside of me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you just woke up on a random day and said, hey, I'm going to go.
Plus, it hurts, man. It hurts.
I think I've done it twice. I did it one time, obviously, when I lived in Texas. And I enjoy it. And I'll tell you this. I don't know if I would. I think to be a professional bull rider or to want to ride bulls, I think you have to have a little bit of stupid in you. I think you do. I mean that respectfully.
Yeah. There's a confidence level that you have to have that either you believe that you're never going to get hurt or you're okay with getting hurt.
And that's what I'm saying. And with that being said, I think I'm stupid enough. I'd try it. I would. And you know what? The crazy thing is I might get hooked on it. Who knows?
What do you think is scarier, Cole? Now, you've done one of these things. You've jumped out of an airplane.
Yeah.
Versus climbing onto the back of, what does the bull weigh? Like 2,000 pounds? Like
That's
climbing on the back of
that's a good question.
Like what is a scarier thought? I mean, you've got the helmet on, your gloves on, you're inside the chute, you're on the back of the bull, you've got your hands strapped in. You can't get out of this now. And it feels like that's being on the edge of jumping out of that plane, the edge of the door.
That's a good question. Which one's scarier? I would say this. Now that I've already jumped out of a plane, I think my answer would be riding a bull because I just can't imagine the adrenaline rush sitting on that thing or the horns that it has, right? I like that. I would probably say, ooh, I don't know, because then people would say, hey, maybe your chances of jumping out of a plane, maybe your chances of death are higher jumping out of a plane compared to.
See, I think your chances of death are way higher on the back of that bull.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm never going to do either one of those things.
Yes,
I'm a
you
wuss.
will.
I'm a
Yes,
wuss, and
you
I'm never going
will.
to do it. But if you're on the back of that bull, you get slung off. You break your neck. The
That's
bull
true.
lands on you.
You're gonna fall.
You get gored. Yeah. There is
That's
no
true,
like
yeah.
the bull gets tired. You just get to step off.
That's true. Yeah.
You have to be thrown off of this thing.
I think I'd agree with you then to answer your question. I think I would agree and say it would be more scary. Ooh, I think it'd be more scary to ride the bull. Leprechaun and Lyman on the Joy Law Firm text line, and we'll get to the Burns text in a second about the regions as well. Leprechaun says, my cousin got a horn through his chin into his mouth riding a bull.
What?
He was inches away from it going into his brain. He's totally fine now, but bull riding is no joke. So I think that answers your question. Bull, yes, you can die jumping out of an airplane, skydiving.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, if you die,
it's over.
I don't think you're going to feel much.
No,
you know,
if you get trampled by a 2,000-pound bull, there's a good chance you live through it and that you are an invalid for the rest of your life.
and it hurts. You know what I mean? It would hurt.
You're going to feel every single
bit of it.
That horn.
So let me ask you this: if I asked you that question and said you have to do one, which one will you do?
Airplane.
So you jump.
Yeah. I am not getting on the back of a bull.
But you know
if
what?
I'm jumping out of an airplane, it'll be the first time I'm jumping out of an airplane, and it means I've got an instructor with me. Look, I just saw this video last week, Cole, of a guy who there's two guys skydiving.
Yeah.
And the one underneath threw his chute deployed, and just so happens to be that the other guy was right above him, and he fell into that guy's chute, and they were wrapped up, and he at the very last. See, that's the kind of stuff that makes me say I'm never going to do this. Never, ever, 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 ever.
So
do that.
what's interesting about it is to answer the question the right way with the bull riding, you're 100% of the time going to hit the ground. And with airplane, with skydiving, most of the time you're going to have a smooth landing. I slid like on my butt. That's how I landed, right? You lift your feet up. The instructor does the hard work.
Heavy lifting.
Yeah. So you are going to land. It is going to hurt. So I think to answer your question, I would say 10 times out of 10, jumping out of an airplane.
Like, you got to learn how to take a fall.
Yeah.
You have to be, that's one of the things you have to do. You have to know that you tuck and roll. You got to have a little bit of body control.
But
nuts.
if I knew, I'll tell you this, if I knew that with bull riding, I could take the fall, and that was the only thing that I had to worry about, Diesel, I'd have no problem with it. I'd do it. If you knew that when you fall off that bull, the only thing that's going to happen is you fall and hit the dirt, no biggie. But you just don't know that. You don't know if, like, with Leprechaun, the horn goes through you, get tossed, kicked, stepped on, trampled, your head gets stepped on.
You also got to know, like, you're not always going to land on your feet.
No.
Sometimes you're going to land on your neck.
Yeah.
And you see bull riders with broken necks all the time.
Maybe you've talked me out of wanting to do it now.
Yeah, that's probably.
I think I'm good.
Gonna,
Before we get to
we'll
John,
just take you over to the local bar. we'll throw on some Def Leppard. Get a couple of drinks in you.
The bull ride, the mechanical bull.
Yeah.
Before we get to John Whittle coming up in about 5 to 6 minutes, Diesel, one texter's already asked about it. The South Carolina High School League has released the new regions for the next 2 years. Texter says, how did Burns manage that easy of a region? Hillcrest is their only competition, and Region 2 5A is no doubt the gauntlet. So let's start in 5A where that texter's talking about, Diesel. Region 1 5A. And by the way, Burns has always been in Region 2 for the not always, but for the past, many, many years. Region 1 5A goes as follows. For those that haven't seen it yet on Twitter, I did tweet it out at the Cole Bryson. Region 1, Burns, Eastside, Hillcrest, J.O. Mann, Malden, Woodmont. So you hear one Spartanburg County team, Eastside Greenville County, Hillcrest Greenville County, J.O. Mann Greenville County, Malden and Woodmont, Diesel, Greenville County.
Mm.
I wonder if that had anything to do with where Burns was located up 85, in terms of, the geography there, in terms of distances between schools. Yes, Burns did dodge a big bullet from not having to play Dorman, Northwestern, and Spartanburg.
So who takes their spot in Region 2 5A?
So Region 2 5A is now Boiling Springs, Dorman, Spartanburg. Those three are normally in it.
Yep.
And then the next three are Fort Mill, which is no, Fort Mill's more west, more east, right towards Charlotte.
Uh-huh.
Northwestern, who just won the state championship again, and Rock Hill. So now you've got, in Region 2, you've got 3 Spartanburg County teams and 3 from the York area.
Okay. Would you say that region has gotten even tougher? I mean,
yeah,
you
I
put
think
a state
so.
championship winning team in
I
there.
think so.
I mean, I would think they would want to balance the difficulty. I mean, Burns has a relative cakewalk now
Compared to that
Yeah.
region, they do. Yeah, no, I do think it got tougher. Rock Hill's getting a lot better. Spartanburg's, always Spartanburg. Northwestern's really good. And then Dorman played for an upper state championship last year. So, yeah, I think it did. Northwestern's a better program.
If you're Northwestern and Rock Hill, you're saying, who did we upset to get
No
stuck in this
kidding,
region?
man.
'Cause things just got harder for them.
But you know what's interesting? When you're looking at, like, driving times and all that, Region 1 makes sense because Burns to East Side to Hillcrest isn't far. I can get from where I am right now to Burns in 15 minutes with no traffic. Burns, the JL Man's not far. Burns, the Malden's what, 3 miles this way?
Yep.
So that's not far. But when you look at Spartanburg, Northwestern, and Region 2, that is interesting.
So you told me there's an appeals process. Is this the
No,
final
it's done.
decision after the
This
appeals?
is after
Okay.
the appeals, yeah.
Okay.
And now that's the upstate teams in Class 5A. As far as 4A goes, Diesel, Region 1 goes as follows. Class 4A, Region 1, easily Fountain Inn, just down the road, Greenwood, Lawrence, T.O.Hanna, and Westside. That's a pretty tough region. Region 2, Gaffney, Greenville, Greer, Riverside, Travelers Rest, and Wade Hampton. So a mix of Cherokee
Okay.
County and Greenville County there.
I was going to ask you what had become of Wade Hampton because I know they have always had a real hard time.
Yeah.
In that, they were
They
Region
were
2
5A and then they dropped down to 4A, but they're still
So,
in Gaffney's region. So
Does this make it a little bit
no,
easier?
I don't think so.
Travelers Rest,
Travelers Rest is not good.
not particularly great.
No.
So there's a winnable game there. for
That's
them.
right, but that's the only winnable game I see. I hate to say it that way, but Class 3A locally, Diesel, Region 1, Berea, Daniel, Pickens, Seneca, Southside, Walhalla. No disrespect, but that's Daniel's region to win year in, year out. Region 2, Belton, Honeypath, Emerald, Legacy, Early College, Palmetto, Powdersville, and Wren. Region 3, 3A is Blue Ridge, Broome, Chapman, Christchurch, and Union County. So that's interesting. In Region 3, 3A, you've got Blue Ridge, Greenville, Broome, Spartanburg, Chapman, Spartanburg, Christchurch, Greenville, Union County. 3 different counties
Okay.
in one region there.
And these regions are set for how long?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. And then let's see, any other local teams in 2A region? Yes, Region 1, Brazier Middle College, Carolina, Crescent, Greenville Tech, Liberty, Pendleton, West Oak, St. Joe's. Class 2A, Region 2, Chesney, Clinton, Greer Middle College, High Point, Landrum, Mountain View Prep, Southside Christian, and Woodruff. So locally, in terms of those local teams, that those are the new regions.
I would imagine that, at least in the case of Burns Dorman, we're going to see those two teams play out of region.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And even with Gaffney, who dropped down to 4A, Diesel, think about that. Think about that. Burns-Gaffney will be a non-region game. Gaffney-Dorman will be a non-region game. Spartanburg-Gaffney, a non-region game. So I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see. We'll see, though. It should be interesting to see. But those are, if you want to see them, they are on Twitter at the Cole Bryson and the Fan Upstate.
When we come back, we go all things South Carolina Gamecocks with John Whittle of the Big Spur. That's next.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got pretty much a two deep, and I don't know how much they're moving guys around. Like they do have a couple of guys who are versatile, who are seeing a little bit of time at some different spots, but they use the fall to evaluate. It was basically the same teams, every scrimmage day in and day out that were out there. You got two shortstops, two third basemen, and very few guys moving around. Like in the past, I feel like I've seen more of some guys getting some reps at shortstop and some guys at second base or third base, like a little bit more movement around. But that's one thing that's been a little bit different this year. It seems like a legit two deep, and they're going mainly ones versus mainly twos each day, and kind of going from there.
John, as the season goes on, Gamecock fans on that baseball diamond that we're talking about will be most excited about who?
Great question. If we're, I think there are a couple of pitchers that really catch your eye. Jake McCoy and Ant Phillips are the two that jump out. Riley Goodman's one that may be a little bit off the radar that I think you watch a little bit. But Ant Phillips is one guy who I'm really kind of excited to see. Those three jump out from a pitching standpoint. When you look at this team offensively, there are certainly some players that you really like, and some of the known guys, your KJ Scobies and your Bo Hollands. I think the guy who I probably look at most and am kind of most intrigued by is Tyler Bach, the center fielder from who's come in from Walford, left-handed hitter. He's plays great defense. He has really good bat to ball skills. He'll hit some doubles for you. I don't think he's going to knock very many out of the yard, but he's a guy who's going to play great defense and hit line drives and steal some bases, and he's got a good shot, I think, to be the leadoff hitter in the order. So he's kind of the newcomer who jumps out to me as one you say, this guy could be one who is maybe the straw stirring the drink a little bit.
John, you're the best, man. As always, appreciate the heck out of you, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys for having me on.
Absolutely. John Whittle of the Big Spur. Always a really, really good conversation, Diesel. We've had now back-to-back guests on the show, and it's time in the very next segment to breathe a little bit, take a look at what's going on in the sports world, Diesel, with our Daily Wires. That's next.
If you're man enough.
844 Fan Phone. This is Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
Well, it's time to get to the top headlines. We call them our Daily Wires. In Spartanburg last night, Diesel, the Wofford men's basketball team, pulled away late to take down the Samford Bulldogs 88-78 in Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium. While on the other side of town in Greenville, Furman hit the road to the Citadel, and guess what? Things did not go well in OT last night. Furman fell to the Citadel by a score of 77-75. Paladins now 13-7 on the season. Diesel 4-3 in league play, and that was a game last night where Furman had a nice lead in the second half.
Yeah, and Citadel's not a good basketball team. They are currently 6-14. Furman gave up a big-time lead to them. Something is amiss inside Bob Ritchie's program.
They did the same thing to Wofford. They had a big lead on Wofford the other day, and it's hopefully can fix it before it's too late. But the good thing is, hey, if you perform well in Asheville, that's all that matters, right?
Did Brad Brownell just tag Bob Ritchie and say you're it? Because this used to happen to Clemson teams.
Hope not, right? Furman will play UNC Greensboro tomorrow, 3 o'clock, 2:30 airtime right here on the Fan Upstate, which means we will have a very short show from 6 to 7 tomorrow, and then Burns back in action tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, hosting East Side, 7 o'clock pregame on that. In Clemson, in the span of 2 weeks, Diesel, we're going to get into this deep at 5:20 after the Tolo takeover, but Clemson signed Cal linebacker in the span of 2 weeks, Luke Forelli, from Cal, and then lost him to the transfer portal. Forelli expected to re-enter by late afternoon yesterday. The Post and Courier confirmed soon after the news was first reported by CBS. Clemson's Forelli scrubbed all of his Clemson commitment posts from his social media.
How do you enter the transfer portal after the transfer portal window is closed?
It's a good question.
I mean, what are these rules? Why?
What rules?
There are no rules.
There are none.
There's no such thing as rules.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are finalizing a deal to hire former Atlanta Falcons OC Zach Robinson as their next OC. Sources told Adam Schefter on Thursday. Robinson was brought in back in Atlanta following the fire of Raheem Morris. How about this news? Big news. Panthers wide receiver Ted McMillan, who led all NFL rookies in receiving yards, Diesel, is the 2025 Rookie of the Year and Offensive Rookie of the Year chosen by the Professional Football Writers of America.
Well-deserved, a phenomenal breakout rookie season for Ted McMillan. That's huge, man. To have a Rookie of the Year coming to the Panthers?
Love that. It's no longer a question, Diesel, if San Francisco 49ers Brandon Ayuk will be with the team. John Lynch confirmed. He says, I think it's safe to say that he's played his last snap as a Niner. So think about that. In the span of 2 years, the Niners are going to lose Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. That is big blows to their receiving corps.
Carolina, Brandon.
Hey,
we need you.
There you go. Let's see. The Hub City Spartanburgers announced this morning that college baseball is coming to the Berg. Fifth Third Park will host its first ever college tournament February 20th through 22nd. Diesel with the Hub City Invitational featuring Boston College, Cornell, and Northwestern.
I like it. All these teams up north, they need somewhere warm to go play their spring ball, and this is a great way to do it. You'd love to see a local team in this tournament, though. You'd love to see Wofford in it. You'd love to see any Western Carolina in this thing, somebody.
Good news is also, it's not a tournament, but Wofford and South Carolina playing at Fifth Third Park this year as well.
Awesome.
Dallas Cowboys were reportedly close to hiring Christian Parker, the Philadelphia Eagles secondary coach and pass game coordinator, as their new DC. Former Michigan football coach Sharon Moore appeared in court today for a probable cause conference with his attorneys looking to dismiss the charges against Moore.
I bet they are.
And last one for you. After the most recent college basketball betting scandal, the state of Missouri Gaming Commission, which just launched sports betting in the state in December of 2025, is considering banning college athlete prop bets. Opponents of this possible ban say doing so will just force prop betting to illegal outlets.
I mean, we know we're seeing it all across the country, Cole, how negatively prop betting can affect players, can affect the athletes. And I think it's a good thing, but then again, you're right. I mean, there's a market. There's people in Missouri that want to bet on props, and they will find a way to bet on props.
No doubt. Those are your daily wires.
Bzzz. When we come back, it is time for you, Tolos, to do that. Bzzz. Light up our phone lines and call in. It is time for the Tolo Takeover next. Well, is there a frozen hellscape going on outside or not, Cole?
Ooh.
Where are the Tolos? Here's your chance to be a part of the show, as you do get this opportunity every Thursday at 5 o'clock. It's the Tolo Takeover. You got something to say about anything? Call in now, 844-326-3663. Phone lines are officially open. I expect we'll hear from Dewey. We'll probably hear from Tom.
Yeah.
Still haven't heard from Madcraft since Monday,
Ooh.
Cole.
Yeah, you know what?
We did hear that one brief drop in.
He just dropped in on the stream, though. He hadn't called this show.
Hadn't faced the music at all.
And he wasn't on the stream yesterday or today.
Yeah.
I think it's pitiful that your team loses and you can't call into the show.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here?
You know, there's a phrase, Cole. It's called mea culpa. It's where you call in. It's basically the fancy way of saying, my bad. My bad.
Do you want to place a bet that mea culpa is going to happen?
That is never going to happen from Madcraft. Maybe he's mea culpa craft if he actually calls in and has a conversation with us about the game. I'm just curious because I know that Madcraft's gotten mad at us before.
Oh, he gets mad at us every day.
He comes back like within a couple of days, right? So, which tells me Madcraft is always lurking. Madcraft's always there. He's watching. I'm sure he's on the stream right now. We just don't know it because it doesn't tell us who is on the stream. But here's your opportunity, man. Call in and talk to us about the game while it's still fresh, while it's still relevant. You know what he'll do, Cole? He'll call us in like August and say, all right, guys, I'm ready to talk about the Indiana game. You're like, man, I don't remember a thing of what happened in the Indiana game. That was months ago.
No, I'll say this. You and I, it is our job, regardless of if we're right or wrong, we have to get on here the next day and talk and then admit that, hey, we were right, we were wrong. But I just thought Madcraft I expected more. I really did. I thought Madcraft would call and say, you know what, guys, all the credit in the world to Indiana. They were the better team. Maybe I was wrong on that, though, but I kind of thought we'd get one, but we hadn't yet. Let's see if today, right now, can be that day, though.
You know, it was 2020. It was last year, the 2025 season. I remember coming on the station and saying I thought that App State had something for Clemson. Maybe not going to win the game, but like could keep it interesting, but a solid game until midway through the fourth quarter. And obviously that was sour real fast. You and I were sitting side by side inside the press box at Clemson's got out of hand super fast. And I still had to come on the show on Monday to talk about it and say, well, I'm embarrassed. My team didn't perform, but it is the way that it is. And Madcraft, we want you to do.
And I will not,
Jay, by the way.
Hurricanes, look, you do call. I will not do anything to, gloat or anything like that.
Why are your fingers crossed behind your back?
No, not crossed. Not crossed. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm saying I won't do anything. I won't do it. I just believe if Mike Diesel, who's first on the Tolo Takeover at 844-326.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Wonderful. Hope you are.
I'm doing good. Just been getting busy. Haven't been able to chime in too much lately. But seriously, he hasn't called in yet?
No.
Nope.
You've got to be kidding me. I called in and congratulated him after we lost.
Sure.
And he still hasn't called? Wow.
That's called being the bigger man, Mike.
Man,
it's bad.
Miami did get a few more calls, but I'm just saying.
There's no shame in losing that game. Indiana's a historically good team, 16-0. There's no shame in losing it, but there is absolutely shame in running from it.
Sure.
Wow. Okay. Well, I just wanted to call in and say hi, and it was a great game, and congratulations to the Big Ten for 3 in a row, and in case you guys didn't see my text yesterday, the coaching is better in the Big Ten.
So serious question here, Mike. Serious question. How, now that Indiana has a national championship and Kurt Cignetti has got one, does that scare you just a little bit of a Big Ten couple?
The whole Big Ten scares me right now with the coaching in there. him. He's
Yeah.
a heck of a coach.
Buckeye Mike, let me ask you a serious question. There's a difference between having college football in your conference and having the best conference in college football. Do you agree or disagree?
I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Some people say the top's better. Some people say the middle, the whole thing. But I think right now the Big Ten is just as good, if not better, in the SEC from top to bottom.
There's no shot.
Trophies have to matter, though. I mean, are we really arguing the middle of the conferences?
It doesn't matter, but trophies do matter.
Yeah.
I think the top of the conference is better.
Agree.
Yeah, and I think it's just going to get better as it goes, too. I mean, I don't see anybody in the Big Ten going undefeated next year, to be quite honest with you. I see one or two losses for just about everybody.
Careful, Steve Sarkisian. When you say nobody's going to go undefeated, it happened less than a year later.
It did. No, don't get me wrong. And the team. Chip Kelly at Northwestern as the offensive coordinator. I mean, that's an improvement. I mean, it's Northwestern. It's got to be an improvement.
Yeah,
there.
true.
Patterson for their defensive coordinator.
We'll see.
I'm just saying.
Trophies do matter, though. Trophies do matter. I'm with you on that.
It's going to be interesting, but I still think it needs to be 16 teams. I still think there needs to be no more conference championship games. Move the playoffs up.
Man of my own heart.
Done beforehand, and this portal window is just the stupidest thing.
I'm with
I
you.
agree with you.
I never thought I'd agree this hard with a Buckeye fan, Mike. You and me
you're
were
right.
on the same page.
You're right. Thanks for the call,
Good
Mike.
call. Let's move.
Real quick.
What's up with the ABBA, by the way?
You not hear the song?
I hear the song. It's ABBA.
You know-
Fernando.
Mendoza? Yes.
Oh, okay.
This is what they wrote the song about. They knew that Fernando Mendoza
30 years before he was born.
Fernando. This is why the song was written. I mean, are you kidding me? Every reel you open, Diesel, and every TikTok that has Indiana has this song in the background. I told you I wasn't going to rub it in. I'm not going to rub it into Hurricane Jeff.
You're not rubbing it in. ABBA is rubbing it in from 1976.
Look who, by the way, speaking of Hurricane Jeff.
There he is. Let's go to Hurricane Jeff. Welcome to the show, Jeffrey.
What's going on, gentlemen? How you doing?
Good, man.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give credit where credit is due. Indiana did play a great game, and they beat us. So, hey, what can I say? We'll try to make a go of it next year, and maybe we can try to get in and get against them again. Maybe we can get them somewhere down the line. It would be great to play them again.
Well, I'm just glad that you called in as Ken and had no problem with me. That's a classic
Stand-up move.
Well, you know, I had to do that. I'm going to represent her nation right now. And, you know, I ain't even going to say we're all the way back yet, but, you know, we've made great strides. I think that it will help in the recruiting process. It will help with the NIL deals and things like that. I think we can build on this.
Jeff, how do you feel about, the entire college football world coming down on Miami for what they're trying to do to Duke?
Well, you know, hey, it is what it is, brother. If we can land Mr. Mensa, I think that we can do a coup. If they want to come down on us, fine. I mean, then spend money.
So you're not going to admit that it's wrong. You're not going to admit that there's shame on the Miami Hurricane program for trying to strip mine little old Duke who fucked himself elite level. Just take him.
Well, hey, like I said, we're trying to get good.
Called in to face the music.
I want to tell him I miss you, brother. Don't need to go into hiding. We had a good season, so we don't want to dwell on that. We want to dwell on what we can do to build on this. So
I like it. That's a good message right there, Hurricane
Always
Jeff.
positive. Thank you,
That's
Jeff.
right.
Let's go to
I like it.
Dewey in Parts Unknown. Dewey, what's on your mind?
Yes, I'm sitting here pondering what to do about this ice situation. We're about to have ice cubes fall from the sky, according to Kendrick Kent.
Okay.
So I don't know what we're going to do. But anyways, I see these idiots. There's one guy at QT gets out of his little pickup truck. 15 gas cans.
No.
Oh, my God.
15. You think I'd be
You can
making
count
this
that
up?
high, Dewey?
I had to count 3 times. It was 15. I honked my horn and shot that man the bird. He got mad at me. I shot him another bird. I called him a couple of names, and I drove off.
What'd you call him?
You know, words I can't say on the air because it'll get me in trouble. Then I'll have to go to church.
You don't want to get us in trouble
Sunday. Well, I don't want to get you in trouble either. But
Thank you.
anyways, this type of crap has to stop. What do you need 15 gas cans for? Where are you going to go? The roads are going to be treacherous with rain.
Ooh, that's a big
with
word
puddles.
for Dewey.
Do you remember back during Helene, people were using plastic grocery bags and filling them with gasoline?
Yeah, I don't understand that either. But where are you going to go? Trees are going to be on the ground. Power lines are going to be on the ground.
Wait. Dewey's buying into the hype now?
So you're saying Chris Justice is right?
Well, even a liar tells the truth once in a while. and this is like one of them things. And he's already talking of another storm for next Saturday.
I saw that.
Well, you got to be careful.
Steady impossible. How much more likes and clicks and friends do you even need? And money, and whoever else you're getting paid to do that.
So you think ice cubes are actually going to fall from the sky, Dewey?
Well, that's what they say on TV.
What,
I
like
don't know.
crushed? I prefer like crushed ice, like Chick-fil-A ice. It's like
Really?
Well, that's what they say. That's what they say sleet is. So I don't know. I think it's just gonna be rain, and we're gonna get a lot of rain, and then we're gonna be back here Monday, talking about how horrible this rainstorm was.
We might not be able to make it to work on Monday, Diesel and I.
But you just have to do the show from your backyard. But anyways, this dry January thing has me messed up because I got to go buy me beer, and time's running out supposedly, and I don't know what to do about that. I'm probably going to violate it and say screw it and get my beer because that might be the only thing I have if my power goes out. Now, Matt Pratt, you need to get out your little hole, get over yourself, get back on the show, and you need to come back. If you don't come back, then you're not allowed to be back.
Ooh, laying down the
I think
law.
we should call if he doesn't come back. That makes him a folo.
Oh, I like that.
Faux as in
He's a
French
fake.
faux.
Oh,
as a fake Tolo, a folo.
He needs to come back and face the music. I mean, South Carolina lost, and me and Tom still come back.
Yeah, every
Tom's
day.
on hold right behind you, by the way.
Yeah, every day y'all lose and come back.
Do you have a message for Tom? Because we're gonna, as soon as we let go of you, we're gonna talk to Tom.
Well, Tom, hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're getting prepared for this pretend storm.
No, he's in Somerville, Dewey. They're not getting. Thanks, Dewey.
No,
I don't think Somerville's getting anything, are they? Well, let's ask him. Somerville getting snow, Tom?
They said something about that stuff earlier this week, but right now the sun's going down, but today the sun, when it was shining, it was sunny and it was 69 degrees.
Oh no, it was 50 degrees here. It wasn't 20 degrees warmer.
There's no
in
way it was
Somerville.
69.
I swear, you can look on the app right now. The app right now shows 64 or 65, but when I got my truck to go to lunch today, it showed 71 degrees on the truck. And usually that's a few degrees higher than normal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, right now on the app,
No lie, it says 62.
64 degrees.
Yeah, it said today's high was
Jeez.
62 in Somerville.
It
Wow.
was a lot warmer than 62 because I'm telling you, I had a big puffy coat on this morning, and I went outside about 11 o'clock to go get some lunch.
You had a what
and I
on,
took
Tom?
my jacket off.
Oh, a puffy coat.
Yeah, because, this morning I woke up, took the dog outside, and it was 32 degrees. Come back a few hours later, I about went and put my Speedo.
God.
My Speedo on and went and jumped in the pool.
Wow.
So,
Appreciate
who
that.
knows what this weekend's
Hey,
gonna bring.
now we know why it was so hot out there because
Yeah.
Tom was out there in a Speedo.
hey, and next week, Billy's right. Next week in Somerville, they're calling for sleet and ice
And I'm like, y'all tried this weekend, and you're wrong. So I'm not falling for that next weekend. I went to the store this weekend. Dewey's getting me really ticked off at these weather people. I went to the store this week to get some groceries, and there were no groceries. There was no water. There was no toilet paper. There was no bread. And I'm like, people, if you look on your phone, it's going to be 60 degrees on Saturday. But, that's aside from my investigation I've been doing. We were talking about Mad Dash, disappearing. And so I started doing a little bit of investigating on the Twitter sphere. And, the game was played on the 19th of January.
Uh-huh.
And on the 20th and the 21st of January, this man is out there liking and retweeting tweets about how well Miami played in the game, but yet we have still heard from him. So it's good to see that he's okay and he's alive. Now we just need to get him on the phone and just get his thoughts on everything.
It won't happen. It won't happen. Telling you.
I even sent him a little message saying, "Hey, buddy, hope you're doing okay. We need you on the radio," and nothing. Not a peep.
Wow.
But
prayers up.
Those other Tolos, we got Dewey, we got me, we got Rick out there, so we can carry the weight.
That's right.
And maybe if we start talking a little negative about the Braves, that'll fire him up enough to call us and tell us we need to be positive.
You're the man, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate you as always, Tom in Somerville.
Stay safe out there.
How about this? First time Tolo reaching out. Andy in Pelzer says, hey, it's the first time reaching out, but a long time Tolo. He says, this caller, Dewey, sounds like Jim Cornette. Do you know who Jim Cornette is? Because I don't know who Jim Cornette is. And I was hoping you would, when I said Jim Cornette, I was hoping you'd say, Cole, you don't know who Jim Cornette is? And then I Googled Jim Cornette. He is an author, but I don't know. What am I supposed to know Jim Cornette from, Andy? Help me out here. Is he a comedian or something? I don't. Is it something to do with wrestling? Help me out,
He's
Andy.
a wrestling guy.
Oh.
He's a wrestler. Here, let's see. Put me
Yeah,
on
I got you. Go ahead.
Fans into the building. We've also seen personal issues as well.
Oh, come on, man.
He's a wrestling promoter?
40 years old. When I think you got to OVW, you were 38.
Cornette, well, he didn't know I was 38 and a half. After the second...
I don't know who these people are. Sorry, I'm trying to pull some Jim Cornette audio. You click on a photo of Jim Cornette, and there's no Jim Cornette there.
I don't know who Jim Cornette is. But anyways, evidently he sounds like Dewey. Dewey and Jim Cornette. Okay. Maybe that is. Sure. Hurricane Jeff on the Joy Law Firm text line says, hey, you got me too. Mitchell says, hey, we didn't need that visual, Tom. Mitchell talking about Tom in a Speedo. Another texter said he's the best wrestling manager ever. Well, guess what? Diesel and I, there's
not
a reason.
That great. Never heard of him.
we wouldn't know. He could be the all-time best wrestler ever. We wouldn't know.
What did he manage? What did he manage? The popcorn stand? Come on now. We talk about real sports here on this
Real
show.
Sports. That's what we do.
By the way, did you watch Cornhole last night?
No. Was it on?
Yeah, it was.
No, I did not.
I mean, it was in the hole. It's amazing.
That's kind of what the objective is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Rick in Greer wants to weigh in on the Tolo takeover. What's up, Rick?
I believe that Stewie or Dewey is Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette was a promoter of wrestling back in the 90s and 2000s. And he sounds just like him. I believe it is.
You think so?
I believe it is. Yeah, I believe it is Jim Cornette.
Wow. Well, I guess Diesel and I need
Jim Cornette had a couple of wrestlers, and one of the wrestlers was named Dewey. So
shut up.
Yes.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, here we go. I got some video of Jim Cornette. You ready for this, Rick? Can we do this with you on the phone?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here's some Jim Cornette.
Like grooming a werewolf. To groom John Laurinaitis for JR's spot, he couldn't hold his jock, so now he's walking in his shoes. Laurinaitis didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Whoa, turn around, hit that. Hit it twice. Oh, my goodness.
Didn't know what the what? That didn't sound like Dewey, though, by the way.
That didn't sound anything like
that.
Dewey.
Did not sound like Dewey. I know what Jim Cornette likes to use, though. No, that
Dewey knows
not
to use four-letter words in interviews.
That's Jim Cornette. He was about 30-something at the time. You put him his age now is about 60. That's Jim. It's Dewey. I know it's Dewey.
Wow. We'll believe you, Rick.
We'll have to take your word for it. We can't play it.
Now.
Are you preparing for the ice, Rick?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
My next door neighbor went to the store and got ice for her deck that is pet friendly. What the dogs and cats eat ice?
Ice for her
You mean
what?
ice melt? Are you sure it wasn't ice melt?
It was ice melt that is pet friendly.
For her what, Rick?
For her dog. Is she feeding her dog ice melt? or what
No, Rick, come on now, Rick. You're a smart enough guy. You know how this stuff works. You sprinkle it on your deck so that the water on your deck doesn't freeze. But you got to let your dog go outside because just like Dewey, your dog's got to pee and your dog's got to poop. And you don't want your dog eating that stuff because it's toxic. But I guess they make stuff that's not toxic to dogs anymore.
I guess so.
Thanks, Rick.
I guess that means Rick can put in his bourbon.
Sam from the Berg gets in and says, Cornette has been around since the 80s. He managed the Midnight Express. Sam, appreciate that. Didn't know that.
I don't know
Again,
who that is.
if you're asking Diesel and I wrestling guys, we do not know. Cornchip says, give Madcraft an ultimatum. He gets his call-in privileges revoked if he doesn't respond by a certain time, and then just don't let him back on the air. The only way we could do that, because Diesel and I we host the show, but we're not mean like that. The only way we could do it is if the Tolos signed off and voted on it. So if the Tolos voted that Madcraft does have an ultimatum, as Cornchip said, Diesel, it's up to the Tolos. What do you think? I don't hate it.
I think the Tolos should get to vote.
What's your name?
Should we say by the end of next week? Is that too much time to give Madcraft to actually respond? Because that would be 2 weeks, Cole.
How much time? 2 weeks?
Into next week? Is that too long to wait?
No, I don't think it's too long. No, I don't think so. End of next week. I think that's a good. I like that. TA wants to weigh in. What's up, TA?
Put me down for a yay.
Yes.
And on that voting process you guys got going.
So TA, there's one yay.
What's the limit?
How many yays do we need?
TA, what do you think the limit is? When does Madcraft need to call back in for?
That's a very good question. I would put him on a 3-month suspension, maybe 30 days would be nice.
Wow.
You'll kick him off the station. He had a bad day, for crying out loud. A very bad day.
But a bad day doesn't need to turn into 2 weeks of disappearing.
Okay. I know how important it is to have callers on your show that, sometimes regurgitate nice things and good things and add to your show. And, just a month, yay. I would stop it at the first 25 votes, yay or nay.
All right, that's a good idea.
Right there. That way it don't go on and on and on.
Let's take that real quick. Let's stop you there, and then we'll let you keep going. There it is. TA said it. 25 votes, yay or nay, for if Madcraft doesn't call in and face the music by the end of next week. 25 votes, either yay or nay, on the Joy Law Firm text line. 844-326-3663. We've already got one yay from TA.
Yeah.
Diesel and I are not going to vote because we don't want to be to blame for this.
Right.
This is the doing of the Tolos across the upstate. Yay or nay? Go ahead, TA.
And in his defense, Dewey is very special in his own way. In his own right, he's a very special guy that adds content and some very good stuff to your show sometimes when I'm driving along and I just get a good crack up when Dewey. I don't know if that's Dewey the character or if that's Dewey the Dewey.
We don't know. TA, we don't either.
We don't know anything about Dewey.
So we need to put Dewey in the studio so we can meet Dewey. But
easy for you to say. You don't have to stand next to the guy.
But listen, you guys are great. Jim Cornette was one of my favorite back when he was with the Midnight Express. His little weapon of choice was a tennis racket. He carried around a tennis racket, and he would hit the opposing wrestlers. They were tag team champions, obviously, and there still are. But Jim Cornette was famous for, hitting people with a tennis racket. And I love that. And I love you guys. I don't want to take up too much time, but great show and good stuff. And I think I took Miami, so I got to wear a little egg on my face.
That's okay.
Because Indiana did it. I know y'all have covered that, but good show. Good
Thanks,
stuff.
TA.
I'll talk to y'all soon.
Appreciate you, man.
Chris Phillips put out a stat that 87% of the time when a team blocks a field goal or blocks a punt for a touchdown, they win the football game.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a wild
in college football.
That's an interesting stat. Mason on the stream says Dewey is a crybaby and that somebody needs to send Dewey a box of Kleenex. If you can get into the store to get any right now.
That's true. Our Kleenex is in high demand right now.
Everything is in high demand. People are going to start eating them before long.
So we've gotten a couple of yays, not more than a couple. And as of right now, we have 0 nays. We have 0. 25 TA said was the number. If we can get to 25 votes, according to the Tolos, Madcraft is banned from calling in for what was the time length?
30 days.
30 days. I think he needs to face the music. Buckeye Mike says Madcraft needs to man up.
Yep. Tom says February 1st. By February 1st, if he doesn't call, he needs to admit he was wrong prior to talking positive about the Canes. He's not allowed to say anything positive about the Canes until he apologizes. He says February 1st. Well, February 1st is a Sunday, so that would give him February 2nd. I said the end of next week, which is the 30th.
Which is just the day before.
Which is the day before.
The weekday.
So Madcraft's got to call in and apologize and say that he was wrong.
Fernando.
Sing the praises of Fernando Mendoza.
I want him to sing the ABBA song, Fernando. This is what I want him to do. I want him to sing along with this right here. Do you think he would do it? I want to know. And
we know he can sing. He sang that song for us that one time, remember?
That's a good point. I just want him to call in. We'll play the music.
How did that song go? It's Wire to Wire with good friends Diesel and Cole.
But I want this one. This is what I want Madcraft to sing this. Fernando. Can you imagine how great that would be? I mean, that would be fantastic. So Mason says no to voting on banning Madcap. So there's your first no.
Let's see. Hurricane Jeff also votes nay.
Oh, wow.
Not surprising, though.
Yeah, sticking up for his buddy, right?
Yeah, birds of a feather,
Yeah. All right, Diesel, what's going on in Clemson? Luke Farrelly and Tristan Smith. Man, things are really interesting in college football and hitting home locally. We'll dive into it next.
one number does it all.
844-326-3663.
That's 844-FAN-PHONE. This is Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Well, it's like the disease that started in Japan and you thought, oh, well, it'll never hit us, or the disease that started in China, wherever the coronavirus came from, Diesel. And you think, oh, that's terrible, but it'll never hit us. It'll never hit close to home, right? However, college football, not far off. What's going on in college football hitting close to home if you are a Clemson fan with this Luke Farrelly situation. So here's where we are. If you're a Clemson fan, we'd love to hear from you. 844-FAN-PHONE Diesel. In the span of 2 weeks, Clemson signed Cal linebacker Luke Farrelly and then lost him to the transfer portal. So Farrelly expected to re-enter yesterday. The initial report from CBS Sports named Ole Miss as a team to watch, and we heard over the weekend all kind of reports and rumors on Twitter about, Pete Golding and the tampering between Ole Miss and Clemson, right? It was reported on January 22nd that Ole Miss is going to land Luke Farrelly. So athletes, Diesel, who weren't in the national championship game had until January 16th to enter the portal, but there can be a lag from the time a player notifies a school of their intent to leave and the compliance staff processing of a request. How Clemson responds to this, I think is going to be very, very interesting, but this just goes to show that the wild, wild west that we were in, where you have the rules that you said earlier in the show, really aren't rules that can be broken and bent, just come back to bite Clemson one more time here.
Yeah, I mean, what's to stop a player from saying, well, I notified them 2 weeks ago that I wanted to enter the transfer portal, but it's
their fault.
It's their fault. They never entered the information in. And then now we're in a he said, she said, we're tracing emails. We're trying to find out when exactly. I mean, this is all completely out of hand. And I for one, hope that Clemson comes down on his ass.
So NCAA rules expressly prohibit programs, Diesel, from contacting athletes at another institution when they are not in the transfer portal. It was reported that Farrelly had been contacted by Pete Golding. Farrelly's name would have been withdrawn when he signed his scholarship agreement with Clemson. Farrelly had started taking classes at Clemson and was participating in team activities. So it's not expected that the university will take action. Like you said, it's unclear if his revenue sharing contract was complete or if the linebacker actually received much in the way of compensation within just 1 week being in the program. That's nuts. He was on campus participating. Don't know if he was receiving money. I'm gone. I'm back. He was there for 1 week, Diesel. This is what's wrong with it. This is not good for college football in any way.
Who showed up to more classes in the last week? Farrelly or Carson Beck?
Probably Luke, I would imagine, because I don't think Carson Beck showed up to a class in a long time. I don't think he has. Clemson could take action, though.
I hope they do.
Not only could the university, Diesel, forward to the NCAA whatever evidence it possesses by the tampering, and the reports are that Dabo has evidence of tampering between Luke and Pete Golding and Ole Miss, but Clemson could also consider suing Ole Miss for damages.
You know, I'm glad that this thing is getting so ugly and that this tampering is happening so many places across the board. I mean, we're seeing it with LSU, which we're not surprised because, I mean, come on, it's Lane Kiffin and LSU. I'm surprised that Pete Golding, after getting out from under the yoke of the way with the way that they did things prior to Lane Kiffin leaving, I would think that he would want to run his program cleaner than he is. But I guess it doesn't matter, right? I guess integrity is for sale, and the currency is wins.
Oh, it's 100% for sale. I mean, that's all it is. And you know what I find fascinating about it is this guy already had a very winding journey, Diesel, in college football. He committed and decommitted to Arizona and Stanford as a high school recruit before even getting to Cal. So He then went into the transfer portal in early January after posting 91 tackles for the Golden Bears, right? Which led all freshmen nationally, by the way. Farrelly would have played alongside 2024 ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sammy Brown, if he would have stayed. The Tigers added 9 defensive players during that window, and Farrelly was the only linebacker signed by Clemson defensively. I just think this adds an entire element, Diesel, to recruiting in the portal. You know how, like, when you recruit a high school guy, you talk to his coaches, you talk to his parents, you talk to all these people to kind of vet them. How do you do that now in the portal? By looking at somebody's track history or track record, right? And saying, you know what, this guy might jump, or are you in a situation where you're so desperate you don't care? You got to have a linebacker. This is where we are now, and I think it's a scary place to be. And I think this will eventually force Dabo out of the sport. I don't think Dabo likes this in any way, shape, or form right now.
And there's no way that Dabo is essentially stepping back away from it and say, hey, Tom, you deal with this, or hey, you over here, you deal with that. I don't want to know anything about it.
Sure.
I just want to coach the team. I just want to be, because that's not how he runs his program. He's got irons in every single fire inside that building.
I just don't wonder, though, from a Dabo perspective, the guy hadn't been good in a few years. This situation right now with Luke Farrelly is pretty messy. Nick Saban didn't want to deal with any of this.
Will it turn him back off of the portal again? I mean, first time, second season, he legitimately dips his toe in this water.
I'm just asking if it'll turn him off of coaching in college football again.
Yeah.
Not again, but in the first place. And
2027, Dabo in the broadcast booth.
I'm not saying it happens. I'm not trying to push any false narrative out there whatsoever. I'm just telling you this. Nick Saban saw it. He said, nah, I don't really like this. I'm good.
Dabo's got 2 national championships. He could walk away right now. And hey, given the way the team has gone, the results have gone the last couple of years, a lot of people are saying, oh, Dabo's ruining his legacy. Every year that they have bad seasons, his legacy gets a little dimmer, not quite as shiny as it used to be. He could exit right now and say, you know what? I tried to tell you guys. I tried to tell you this was going to get nasty and this was going to get mean, and I tried to do it my way, and it just kept getting worse.
Well,
I tried to lead by example.
I'll say this. I don't know that Dabo Swinney will ever come out and publicly say it, Diesel, but I do wonder. I do wonder in his heart of hearts, as he goes to bed tonight, tomorrow, and he continues to have to wake up and play this portal game, I just wonder if he's thought about it. Because they say when you think about it, it might be time. I wonder genuinely if the thought has crossed his mind that, yeah, I don't enjoy this. Maybe I want to get out.
If Dabo Swinney and Pete Golding got in a fist fight over Luke Farrelly, who would win?
I think Pete's kind of burly and heavy enough. He's lost a lot of weight, right? Dabo might be a little more agile.
Though. He can sprint, though.
He can run.
Yeah.
But if they were locked in a cage, Pete kind of has, Pete kind of that like.
And obviously we know Pete will fight dirty.
And that mugshot that Pete Golding from a few years ago, like he's a burly old man. I'd probably go Pete Golding.
Such a ludicrous question to ask.
I love it.
When we come back, Cole, we have some audio coming out of the Denver Broncos organization. Some of his fellow teammates, Jarrett Stidham himself. How do they feel about facing off against a big bad opponent without their QB1? We'll play that audio next. Denver Broncos have a big old task ahead of them, Cole, this weekend in the conference championship game against the Patriots. It was going to be a big task no matter what, facing a very, very good Patriots team. The defense for Denver, not going to be a problem, right? I think they'll keep them in this game, but the question is, can they even come close to having enough offensive firepower to stay with Drake May and these Patriots? And that's going to be a really tough thing to do with Jared Stidham taking those snaps.
Oh, it is. And we're going to make our official predictions for those games in the next segment because of tomorrow's show being very, very short.
So what are the Denver Broncos players saying about this change and about this new wrinkle to their task? Here is wide receiver Cortland Sutton on Jared Stidham being QB1 for this game.
I have no doubt in my mind that Jared's going to be ready to go play. You know, there's a guy that prepares as well as Bo is him. You know, he goes in, he knows the entire playbook. He knows everything that needs to be done for us to go out there and have success.
Well, I would hope he knows the playbook. He's been around the whole season. It's his job.
No, and look, it goes back to what I said yesterday. I have no doubt he knows the playbook, can complete a slant route, can complete a hitch route, whatever. It's just people don't realize there's so much that happens outside of the ball being snapped that is so important, Diesel. And maybe, you know what, and we'll talk about this in the next segment, maybe he proves us all wrong. Maybe he goes out there and he balls out.
Can they win essentially with him being check down Charlie? You know, if they just try to make it as simple as possible for him, don't ask him to do too much, can they beat these Patriots?
If they can run the ball. If they can run the ball and play, you know, they've got a good defense already. If they can run the ball and get it in the end zone, I think they can. Again, you don't want to ask a ton of them, but at the same time, it's the AFC Championship game. You kind of got to.
Feels like you have to ask a lot of them.
Got to ask a lot.
Here is Jared Stidham himself on preparing for this start.
I've prepared the same every single week like I am the starter. Just hasn't obviously been that way, minus 2 weeks. So my preparation hasn't changed one bit. And that's just kind of how I view it.
So he prepared by gripping the clipboard this way. And then he prepared kind of holding it against his forearm so he can write. And he prepared using two hands, one hand, no hands. It's crazy, the kind of preparation he did. Here's one more from Jared Stidham on playing in this AFC Championship game.
This is not about myself. First of all, I want to – obviously my thoughts and prayers have been with Bo since Saturday night. I mean, it's crushing because he's one of my best friends. And Sam and I were talking about this. Like, Sam and I probably spend more time with him than his wife does right now. And that's just the nature of the business that we're in. My heart goes out to him and, you know, everything that he means to this team, because obviously we wouldn't be in this position without Bo. And, I just want to go. I know all of us on offense, and I know the whole team, we want to go out there and make him proud, you know, this Sunday.
Yeah, we're ultimately going to come down to the question, Cole, of like, how close can they keep it?
How close can they keep it? And I'll expound on this in the next segment, but I would not have picked Denver even if Bo Nix were playing, even though I love Bo Nix.
Yeah.
New England's just really, really, really good. It changes things. It does. He's the guy that touches the football every single snap offensively. So it's going to matter. Of course, the defense is still going to have to play good. New England's defense is good, but I just think it's fascinating, though. What if, and I'll throw this at you before we run to a break, what if, Diesel, what if, you know, we're sitting here thinking about this game, thinking, not going to be good. You know, the NFC Championship's going to be the game. What if this guy, Jared Stidham, goes out there and just, you're talking about creating a big-time story.
Jared Stidham would have to have a clean football game. Mm-hmm. Number one, he'd probably have to throw for a minimum 180,
200.
And you would need a Drake May turnover or two. If that's a recipe for Denver winning this game. I don't think it's likely, but that is a recipe.
You know, I go back to the Super Bowl between the Panthers and Broncos. Diesel, you remember that with Cam versus Peyton Manning, right? And I remember all week leading up to that game thinking Denver had no chance. And I think you remember this. People were picking Carolina to win. Mm-hmm. They were, because how old Peyton Manning was. I think it's similar in this game. If Denver's defense can be elite, kind of like Houston's defense was, but what did Houston not have? the other day. They didn't have quarterback play. C.J. Stroud was horrible. If Denver's defense is elite and Jarrett's got a little bit, who knows? I hope so. I hope so. Let's make our official predictions on that. How do we see these games going, Tolos? How do you see the AFC and NFC championship games going? Next, right here on the Fan Update. Texter says, y'all are a joke, picking on the guy for being a backup. I hope he goes and balls out. Well, I don't remember picking on the guy or anything like that. And I think, Texter, I also said, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he goes out there and proves us wrong. I thought I said that, but you can continue to hear what you want to hear.
We talked about him yesterday, having thrown 8 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in his career as an NFL starter.
People are so sensitive.
Is that picking on somebody? Because that's the truth. It's a fact.
Sensitivity level around here, man, has gotten off the charts. People, I mean, man, I'm sorry, Miss Ellen. What's his name? Stidham? Is that Jarrett Stidham's grandmother that texted in or whatever? I mean, my gosh, don't pick on Jarrett Stidham, you know.
Yeah, the point is the odds are stacked against him to be successful in this game, and the odds are going to be stacked against the team no matter what. You said it. Even if Bo Nix was playing quarterback for this team,
I would have still picked the Patriots.
It's still a tough win. It is a home game for the Broncos, and they've been pretty good at home, but still. And the Patriots have been elite on the road this season.
New England on the road is a 4.5-point favorite, which says a lot. That's a lot of points.
Wasn't it 5.5?
It was, yeah. I think it did drop.
Wow.
Drake May's thrown for 4,000 plus yards. The Henderson kid, I say kid because he was at Ohio State last year, Diesel, or the year before. Henderson out of Ohio State is incredible. He'll probably hit 1,000 yards this year by having, I think, he has like 911 yards right now. So he might get 1,000 yards in this game, in the AFC Championship game. We've talked about it. Denver's a very good team. Sutton's a heck of a player for Denver. 1,000-yard receiver. And that matters. Having a 1,000-yard guy out there, if you're Jarrett Stidham's important. And we talked about this yesterday, Diesel. He's been in the NFL for 7 years.
Yep.
Bad players don't make it in the NFL for 7 years, even as backup. So I think when you talk about who's going to win this game and making predictions, you said it, I said it. I would have picked New England even if Bo Nix was going to play. I like Bo Nix a lot, and I think the world of Sean Payton. Diesel, I told you last week if the Denver Broncos were going to win in the divisional round, I thought Sean Payton had to muddy that game up against the Bills. They won in overtime 33-30. Sean Payton has had a few days to now implement this game plan with Jarrett Stidham. Let me ask you this, though, and we hadn't talked about this yet. Maybe there's a rule that I don't know about, and if there is, please tell me. Tolos, I'm sure somebody out there will correct me. You remember what happened on last weekend when the Denver Broncos lost the game. Sean Payton came out to the press conference post-game and immediately broke the news, Diesel, about Bo Nix and said, hey, Jarrett Stidham will start in the AFC Championship game. Maybe there's a rule that forces him to do that. But if there's not, do you think that was a bad decision? We hadn't talked about this yet. But a bad decision on the part of Sean Payton, not holding his cards close to his vest and giving the New England Patriots an entire week. If I'm the coach, I would not have ever ruled Bo Nix out to begin with. I don't know if medical procedures force you to.
Call it a lower leg injury. Be very vague about it. By the way, here's the audio of Sean Payton announcing that.
Not good news. On the second to last play in overtime, Bo fractured a bone in his right ankle. He's scheduled to have surgery Tuesday of this week, which will put him out for the rest of the season.
I think, Cole, with how impossible it is to keep a surgery secret and quiet. I mean, Bo Nix gets on an airplane, somebody's going to know about it. Whether it's performed right there in Denver, like a lot of these players, for whatever reason, they'll fly to LA or they'll fly to Dallas to have this specialist or that specialist do the operation, do the procedure. If he's traveling to get this thing done, somebody's going to know about it. And it's going to be out there. But you're right. I mean, it gives you a little less time to prepare. I mean, nobody from New England would have been preparing for Jarrett Stidham.
I would have said, and again, maybe this is illegal. I would have said, look, Bo's banged up. We'll know more next week. And then middle of the week came around Tuesday, Wednesday. I said, yeah, we don't know right now. We're still running tests. He's questionable. We don't know. Thursday, Friday comes around. Yeah. Maybe on Friday.
Just say we're optimistic.
Yeah, maybe
you could get back out there.
Maybe by a certain time, like in the ACC now, you have to have the injury reports out by whatever. maybe there's a rule there that I don't know about when it comes to injuries in the NFL. I just think Sean Payton, he came out, bam, said it fast. First thing, hey, guys, he's done. He's out. Here you go, New England. So with that being said, Diesel, New England, 4.5-point favorite. Drake May's been really good, 31 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. I think what's going to happen is you're going to see Denver keep it close because of how good their defense is. Denver's defense is really, really good. But I do believe at some point we're going to watch this game on Sunday and we're going to think, oh boy, this is a critical down for Jarrett Stidham. 3rd and 8, and they're down 7, right? The first half. Jarrett Stidham either converts, they go down and score, they're able to match New England, or they don't convert that 3rd and 8. Jarrett Stidham overthrows his receiver. New England gets the ball back. I hope it's not like a big ball that's about to fall off a cliff and you just feel like it's going to happen. But my confidence level is not high in Denver. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's not high right now.
And if Stidham isn't crisp, we don't know how he's throwing the ball right now. If he's not crisp, New England has not been top of the NFL when it comes to interceptions this year, but 10, that's pretty good. I mean, you get it. And I would imagine they're going to be super aggressive early in this game, trying to get to him, trying to disrupt him, and maybe trying to disguise some things, play a little cover 2, and have some linebackers and safeties with the ability to move and roam a little bit. Because if they try to throw across the middle of the field and you got a guy out there on an island, they can pick that ball off.
Well, I would imagine that if you're New England's defense, you're right. You do want to hit them. But I would also imagine, Diesel, that if you are trying to figure out a way to get this guy to go bonkers in his head, that New England's defensive coordinator is going to try to throw stuff at this guy pre-snap to throw him off. By the way, Texter on the Joy Law Firm text line says, hey, guys, what's the station for Anderson again? It's 101.5 at the moment. At some point, it's going to change over to a different FM frequency. But last we heard, unless it's already changed, it was 101.5. So hope you can find us there in Anderson. Do you have any faith, any confidence? Where's your confidence level? If I said your confidence level in Denver winning the game, it would be where?
2.
Oof.
2 out of 10. I'm not confident in their ability to win this game. I think they can keep it close defensively. Maybe they hold Drake May down a little bit below his season averages because they are a very, very good defense. To win the game, confidence is low.
Dan B on the YouTube stream says, diehard Denver fan here. I have no confidence. I don't need to watch film to know Den needs a lot of luck to win. Well, Madcraft will tell you need to watch film, watch tape, Dan B. Good to hear from you, by the way. So Dan B's a Denver fan. So I'm going to give you a little confidence, Dan, and tell me if it worked. Tell me if it didn't work. Diesel, to play the other side, like I talked about in that Super Bowl win Denver had over Carolina, why Denver can win. Their defense is legit. You saw in Houston the other night that defense give that team opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to win. Their red zone defense is really good. They have a strong secondary. They create turnovers. They have a strong pass rush. Dan, I would also say this, why Denver can win. Sean Payton's your coach. And Diesel, you got to remember, Sean Payton has won football games with Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, backup level quarterbacks before. Sure. Payton's offense, for those that don't know, is built on the quick reads. Short, intermediate throws, right? The pre-snap motion, the defined roles, which I believe Jarrett Stidham will know going into the game. And I told you a minute ago, if they can run the ball and maybe their offensive line can control a little pace, that does take a lot of pressure off of that quarterback. And it also keeps the defense fresh. And Diesel, the last thing I'll say as to why I think they could. The offense is coached from Sean Payton and always has been this way. They protect the football. And I also have seen over the years Sean Payton offenses get very conservative. That could be good. That could be bad. But I don't think Stidham needs 300 passing yards and explosive quarterback play. I think this defense is good enough to keep him in the game and give him a chance to win.
So you kind of pre-answered my question I was about to ask you. Sean Payton's been around this league for a long time. How much pressure is on Sean to throw some wrinkles out there with Jarrett. Like, first of all, the Patriots are going to have to prepare for a quarterback they were not going to prepare for. And, these teams have huge coaching staffs, and they're doing a lot. They do a lot of pre-planning. When all right, we're going to either face this team or this team. We're going to have a small group start to do some pre-prep on them, and the small group doing some pre-prep on the other team. But now you know who you got, which is not the guy you thought you were going to get. So now you got to start over prepping for somebody. Yeah. And then if you're Sean, how much pressure is there to try something different versus don't do something you're not used to doing all season long, because then you create the opportunity for more mistakes.
Well, I think the good thing is Sean Payton does know his strengths and weaknesses, right? And then you take those strengths and weaknesses, Diesel, that you know of Jarrett Stidham, and then you might tweak the game plan a little bit. I don't think, and I'm not Sean Payton, I'm not an expert, I don't think you tweak the game plan a lot. Maybe a little, but not a lot. Based on what Jarrett's strengths and weaknesses are, you may do this a little different, that a little different, but I don't think a lot changes in the offensive game plan. I think you can't, because then it takes the trust away and the confidence and belief that Stidham has in himself. I don't think you can change a lot. I think you just keep it as close to what normal is, what normal looks like as possible. Maybe a tweak here, maybe a tweak there. And then you just show him that you trust him. And he might not come out on record and say this, Diesel, but here's the reality of it. Sean Payton doesn't need Jarrett Stidham to win the game. He just has to make sure Jarrett Stidham doesn't lose the game. If he goes out there and loses the game and forces or creates turnovers and puts them behind the 8 ball, then that's where they obviously are not going to beat New England. But he just needs them not to lose it more than he does to win it. Dan B says, I agree Denver can win. It is possible, but I think a perfect game is required. No turnovers, no bad penalties, need a couple of takeaways to lead to points, etc. No, I'm with you there, Dan. I am. All right, let's go prediction on this one before we move on. Denver and New England. I'm going to go New England by 10 on Sunday, Diesel. You go.
I go New England. I go New England by 17.
Whoa!
I don't. For some reason, I get the sense that Jarrett Stidham is going to make a mistake or two.
Well, I hope not, because
it's going to cost him.
And you know what? Every NFL playoff game other than the Pittsburgh game has been really, really good. I hope we don't have a blowout. But
I mean, I could even see it being like 20-3. Ugh. I hope not. I want another good game, but hey, it's a tough task to ask any team to rally around a backup quarterback at this point of the season.
That's 3:00. 6:30 on Sunday. Seattle hosting the Rams, Diesel, 12-5 versus 14-3 Seahawks. As of right now, Seattle is favored by 2.5 points. I want to get to this tweet from Adam Schefter earlier today, Diesel, and get your thoughts on this. This is a wild stat when it comes to these two teams, because these two teams have played, and boy, have these games been close in the matchups. To be honest with you, I don't know exactly right now where I'm leaning on this. I want to read this to you, though, real quick. Heading into Sunday's NFC Championship game, here's how the Rams and Seahawks have fared in their last 4 matchups. You ready? In the last 4 matchups, head-to-head, the last 2 seasons, the Rams have scored 109 points. The Seahawks have scored 107 points. The Rams have scored 2 more points than the Seahawks. Listen to this. Yards in the last 2 matchups, the Seahawks have tallied 1,589 yards. The Rams have tallied 1,599 yards. 10 more yards.
Wow.
And 2 more points. That's how close these last 4 matchups between these two teams have gone. Yeah. I'm leaning Seattle, but how do you count out Matthew Stafford, who's been there and won a Super Bowl before?
Think about it this way, though. The Rams have not looked dominant over anyone in these playoffs. They had to go to overtime against the Bears.
Panthers.
They had to go down to the wire against the Panthers. Needed a game-winning drive to get it done. And they deserve a lot of credit for that, right? I mean, you could argue, hey, it means they're battle-tested in these playoffs. It means they're more locked in these playoffs. But I don't know, man. Seattle has just looked really good. Really, really good in these playoffs. And they split the regular season series, both winning their games at home. This game is in Seattle. It's loud up there. The 12th man are a raucous bunch.
Yeah.
I got Seattle in this game as well.
I do too. I just think Seattle's the best of the 4 teams remaining. Diesel, number 1. And I think their defense just matches up well with McVay's offense. They're physical, man. You watch Seattle on Sunday. Their linebackers are good. They're a physical group. They bring pressure up the interior. The Rams' offensive line's kind of been spotty to me at times. And I think, Diesel, that's where Seattle's the strongest. This Seattle team just looks good. And Sam Darnold last week was hurt.
Yeah.
Didn't tell, did you? You couldn't tell?
You couldn't tell one bit. He looked great out there, didn't he?
Now, I think this game,
he had Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns in the game last week.
Jackson Smith-Njigba, to me, is right now the best wide receiver in the game. That guy's phenomenal. Diesel, right now, as of today, he has 119 receptions on the season for 1,793 yards. There aren't many receivers in the NFL, in the history of the NFL, who have gone for 2,000 yards, and it's still a long shot. If they were to play in the Super Bowl, he'd have to have 104 yards this game and 104 next game, which probably not going to happen. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the real deal. I like Stafford a lot. I think I'm with you, though. I think I'm going to go Seattle. The spread's 2.5. You said it. It's in Seattle. I think that's a huge advantage. The weather's going to be nasty. I think McDonald's done such a good job with that group. I'm going to go Seattle by 6 at home. 6:30 on Sunday. You go Seattle by how many?
Just to be different, 7.
Yeah, close. One touchdown
I
game.
think it's a touchdown game.
I did too.
Matt, by the way, Dan B says, ouch, that hurts my gut when I talked about Denver getting blown out in this game. He goes, I guess I should take my ball and film and go hibernate until Daytona. And I said, don't disappear just because you didn't hear what you wanted to hear. Who does that?
Oh, my gosh. That's good, but true. Good, but true. I don't know. I think they're going to be good games. I think the Rams-Seahawks game will be the better game of the two. I just wish Bo Nix was playing. Yeah. That sucks. How do you fix all these injuries in the NFL, Diesel?
Shorten the season?
I'm with you, but I've said that for years, but TV, right? TV
It's never going to get shorter. I mean, we all know that an 8-team college football playoff is probably the right answer, but it's never going to shrink. It's only going to grow.
These injuries, man, I retweeted a tweet over the weekend. They're getting bad in the NFL, and I don't know what the answer is. Listen to this real quick. Bo Nix broke his bone in his ankle. George Kittle torn Achilles. Patrick Mahomes torn ACL. Nick Bosa torn ACL. Parsons torn ACL. Malik Neighbors torn ACL. Tyreek Hill torn ACL. Zach Ertz torn ACL. Tucker Kraft torn ACL. Daniel Jones torn Achilles. Like, this is a major problem for the NFL. All
Maybe
these
they
injuries.
need to start using more steroids. Just inject steroids. Or they should call QC Kinetics.
Or that. And the last thing, real quick, before we run off, the Baltimore Ravens, Diesel, breaking news are about an hour ago, are hiring Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter as their next head coach. 5-year contract. The Chargers defensive coordinator now heading to Baltimore.
Who's got it better than we do? Apparently the Ravens do.
Well, if things couldn't get worse for Matt Kraft, Miami loses, now your defensive coordinator's gone. Sorry, bud.
Cole, let's get into our conversation about the South Carolina Gamecocks. John Whittle of the Big Spur got his finger on the pulse, especially with this linebacker situation that's leaving South Carolina to go to another SEC school. But wait, I thought he was on contract.
Oh.
We'll get into that with John next.
3663. That's 844-FAN-PHONE. This is Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Let's talk a little South Carolina Gamecocks with the man, John Whittle of thebigspur.com. He knows all. He is the number one source to go to. John, let's start with kind of a nasty, ugly situation that's playing out with a South Carolina transfer. Unfortunately, we're seeing this play out across college athletics with Darian Mensah at Duke. We almost saw it with Damon Williams at Washington. But now Desmond Omeozulu, he entered the transfer portal after signing an NIL deal, but he's heading to Alabama. What's going on? What's the absolute latest going on with this situation? And can you tell us who kind of was the impetus of pursuing this legal action against Desmond?
Well, I think schools aren't scared now of holding these players to their contracts. I mean, they've been signing agreements like this for a little while now, and you know there's been a little bit of a lack of enforcement. I guess it was Georgia last year that was first to step up and do something about it and try to hold the player accountable. And now you're seeing it more and more. And you know when you make the pledge to come back to the program and you've got money allocated to you, and that's one spot that the coaching staff isn't thinking that they have to go find a player for. And then in the end, I feel especially bad for Duke when you're there at the end of the transfer portal and you have so many players gone. I mean, there's got to be some repercussion. You know, it may not help you now, but it may help the sport in the future. So, you know, with South Carolina and you know, trying to hold Desmond Omeozulu to account, you know, I mean, you signed the contract, right? And we talked to Jeremiah Donati back in December when Kendall Browse was hired at South Carolina, and he told us pretty point blank. He said, you know, some of these agents out there are really good, and some of these players I feel really bad for because they have really bad agents and are getting really bad advice. And you know what? I'm not saying that Desmond's guy falls into that category, but I'm saying that some guys are signing some things that they probably shouldn't be signing. And, you know, there's a contract there. You know, it's whatever's within those four walls of that contract. That's what you're going to be held to.
John, big picture, man, not only with South Carolina's situation, but just as the sport altogether looks at what's going on legally with all these different lawsuits across the country. You've been covering college athletics a long time. What I find fascinating, John, is everybody has an answer, but with the conference commissioners running the sport, maybe I need to be more positive. I don't ever see a light at the end of the tunnel. What do you see from somebody who's been covering this sport a long time, just in terms of fixing or putting a Band-Aid on a lot of this?
Well, some say fascinating, some say stupid. I mean, it's ridiculous what kind of era we're in right now. There's seemingly no rules. I mean, is an Alabama playing a basketball player this Saturday who's you know, been was drafted a couple of years ago, but D-League, all that stuff. Like what are we doing here? I mean, I almost think like I'm not a tinfoil hat guy, but if I were one, I'd be sitting here thinking like, the NCAA and all parties involved are doing the stupidest crap that they can to make things seem so ridiculous that it gets us to where we need to be. When I say we, I'm talking about college sports in general, in terms of just collective bargaining and getting some set rules on paper that everybody agrees to and are held to account on. And because the House settlement and the SCORE Act, all of that stuff, like it ain't, it's not working yet, and it feels like things are getting even more chaotic instead of more structured in a lot of ways. So I almost feel like things are getting so crazy, so we all come to some common sense solutions here before too much longer, but we'll see.
Yeah, John, here's a crazy stat for you. More players will end their careers in the transfer portal this year by not finding a home than entered the transfer portal just 5 years ago. That's a crazy thing to think about. I believe that all transfers should come with buyouts, but not paid by the student athlete to get out of his NIL deal, but paid by the university receiving the player to the university that is losing the player, that would cover their costs of damages. Now that we're headed down this path, though, of schools being emboldened to hold these kids to their contracts, do you think we're headed towards a college football landscape where there are across the board buyouts for any player that moves?
Well, that would have to be something that I feel like has to be collectively bargained. So I'm honestly hoping that we get to that point and just professionalize this whole thing, because the agent side of this is some of these guys just have a uncle who wants to be involved, who's handling things. Like a lot of these guys don't have real agents. They just call themselves agents, and they aren't held to the same kind of standard that you're held to in Major League Baseball or the NFL or whatever, where you have to have all of these training and instruction and certain qualifications. And they're just we're not in the world right now that all players have great agents and agents who know what they're doing. Everybody has an agent. Very few have good ones.
John, I'm going to ask you a fun one here since you're a baseball guy. Which is worse in your mind? And I guess the second part of the question is, which one's going to be easier to get out of? A, what's happening right now in college athletics, or B, sticking with baseball but going professional for a second, what the stranglehold that the Dodgers are putting on the rest of Major League Baseball in a very, very unfair way?
Well, I'd be lying to you if I said that I followed professional baseball like crazy closely. I do have a basic idea of what you're referring to. Yeah. I would just say that I would say college sports anyway, just because of the fact that college sports has always been more about, developing college in general, sports included, has always been more about developing for your future, whether it's on the playing field or off of it. And it goes across all sports. I mean, whether it's college football or volleyball or baseball or tennis, like you have so many people who are impacted by and have their lives shaped in what happens in college athletics. And, we're losing sight of that in a lot of ways. When South Carolina just signed a kid from the transfer portal, will be his fifth school in 5 years, a defensive tackle. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like how are you setting yourself up for later in life, whether it's on the field or off of it? It doesn't resonate with me. And I just feel like the college sports structure is more broken. Professional sports are what they are. You can always you can find a way to make things a little bit better. Right now, college athletics is just so dynamic in terms of how different sports are handled and all of the changes. It's just really hard to see how it's good for what college athletics is supposed to be.
John, I proposed this earlier in the show, and it may sound a little bit crazy, but it's not that far-fetched. When you consider that Carson Beck was playing college football 2 years after he finished taking classes, and Trinidad Chambliss, he looks like he's on the verge of getting additional eligibility. Is it crazy to think that an underclassman could sue somebody, like a player who has been granted additional eligibility, because having his opportunity taken away does restrict his ability to make money off of his name, image, and likeness? And it feels like the Spider-Man meme, where you got a freshman quarterback who thinks he's going to play suing a super duper duper senior who is coming back for his ninth year of eligibility, and the school is the one that allowed it.
I have not thought about that, but that's such a wonderful thought. Like that's probably the next step in this crazy world, putting the tinfoil hat back on. Of what it's going to take for us to get back to some normalcy. So like bring it on. Just bring on that lawsuit. Let's see that happen. I don't know who the freshman quarterback is at Ole Miss, but somebody write him a letter. send them a DM or something. I think that's phenomenal.
It's it's actually Deuce Knight, who transferred in from Auburn, presumably to start because he thought Trinidad Chambliss was exiting college football, and now he's going to have to sit another year if Trinidad gets that additional year of eligibility. I mean, if I'm him, I'd be very, very upset. Now he can't get back in the transfer portal.
It's a great point. It's a gre't point. Let's go ahead and throw that out there. Let's see if that happens. See, somebody reach out to Deuce and get a comment.
John, earlier today, 3:15, South Carolina baseball scrimmage got underway. You're there right now. And then even earlier than that today, Paul Maneri spoke to the media. Where are you? Because I talked to you a few times about this last year during the season. We've talked about it before. But he talked about Jake McCoy, the pitching staff, some question marks in terms of who else is going to be in that rotation. Where are you on your confidence meter in I'm not asking for a World Series appearance, but a bounce back year, one where South Carolina fans at least will be invested?
Well, I feel pretty good about the pitching staff. I mean, there's still some questions that I think have to be answered, but in general, I feel pretty good about those guys. Like, you know, they have added some arm strength. They do have some guys with some collegiate experience and who have had some varying degrees of success. They held on to a couple of good arms from last year that are back. So, you know, I like the talent there. I like the depth there. I think the question from a pitching standpoint is, you know, are these starting pitchers going to be guys who can go a little bit deep in games for you? You know, maybe they don't have to, and maybe the depth is that good, but, you know, you always feel a little bit better when you have a starting pitcher who can go 6 or 7 innings and, you know, hand it off to 1 or 2 relievers and then have a guy go 4 or 5 innings and have to hand it off to 3 or 4 or 5 relievers because, you know, you got more of a shot of a guy not it being his day. So I do think there's some depth. I do think there are some things you worry about or wonder about, maybe not worry about, but wonder about a little bit. You know, from a position player standpoint, we're kind of in that mode right now, and I'm anxious to watch some scrimmages. They've got 14 scrimmages here before the start of the season. I'm anxious to watch some scrimmages. But we're in that kind of evaluation point of, you know, are the pitchers really this good to make it to where the hitters don't look as good as they should be for SEC play? Like I'm kind of in the thought process right now, and I reserve the right to change my opinion here as time goes along. But I'm kind of in the thought process right now that, you know, the position players offensively and defensively have a little bit of work to do and have to show a little bit more to have you feel good about them. You feel good about some spots, maybe you don't feel good about some other spots, but, you know, there's some time between now and the start of it. And again, it might be that the pitching staff is that good and that when you go out there, you know, in the middle of February and when SEC play starts in the middle of March, that, you know, they show you just how good the pitching staff is by going out there and, you know, wallop every opponent they face. But, you know, there's still certainly some things to see. And, you know, I this team should have the talent level to make it into the NCAA tournament. We'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. That's not something I would sit here and guarantee right now, but I feel like this team, with how they recruited some guys from the portal, with the way they were able to retain a few of the good players off of last year's team, I feel like they should be, you know, right there in that mix.
Where do you think I mean, what are they doing on a day-to-day basis to evaluate that talent? Is it good on good? Is it a lot of situational type hitting? What does it actually look like to do that talent evaluation?
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got pretty much a 2 deep, and I don't know how much they're moving guys around. Like they do have a couple of guys who are versatile, who are seeing a little bit of time at some different spots, but they use the fall to evaluate. It was basically the same teams, you know, every scrimmage, day in and day out, that were out there. You know, you got 2 shortstops, 2 third basemen, and very few guys moving around. Like in the past, I feel like I've seen more of, you know, some guys getting some reps at shortstop and some guys at second base or third base, like a little bit more movement around. But that's one thing that's been a little bit different this year. It seems like a legit 2 deep, and they're going mainly 1s versus mainly 2s each day, and kind of going from there.
John, as the season goes on, Gamecock fans on that baseball diamond that we're talking about will be most excited about who?
Great question. If we're, I think there are a couple of pitchers that really catch your eye. Jake McCoy and Ant Phillips are the 2 that jump out. Riley Goodman's one that may be a little bit off the radar that I think you watch a little bit. But Ant Phillips is one guy who I'm really kind of excited to see. Those 3 jump out from a pitching standpoint. When you look at this team offensively, there are certainly some players that you really like, and some of the known guys, your KJ Scobies and your Bo Hollands. I think the guy who I probably look at most and am kind of most intrigued by is Tyler Bach, the center fielder from who's come in from Walford, left-handed hitter. He's plays great defense. He has really good bat to ball skills. He'll hit some doubles for you. I don't think he's going to knock very many out of the yard, but he's a guy who's going to play great defense and hit line drives and steal some bases, and he's got a good shot, I think, to be the leadoff hitter in the order. So he's kind of the newcomer who jumps out to me is when you say this guy could be one who is maybe the straw stirring the drink a little bit.
Well, out in California, Diesel, I don't know if they are calling for a potential winter storm or ice or snow like we're getting or maybe going to get, but they are playing golf. The American Express happening right now, and it started today. And tied for first is a name you do know in Min Woo Lee, who shot 10 under today. Not bad at all. Round 1 today, and then they will take 4 rounds through Sunday. But the big names are in this one. Not every big name, but Scotty Scheffler, T3 right now with Siwoo Kim. Diesel. Scotty shot 9 under today, and it would not surprise me to see Scotty get off to a good start and win the thing.
So this is going to be one of those rounds where the winner is going to be like 30 under.
Could be.
They're just going to go out there and absolutely dominate this course.
I don't know what course it is, but let's see. It says it right here somewhere. I just don't know. It's La Quinta, I believe, by the way, country club.
In La Quinta, California.
Yeah, I don't know if I love it or hate it. I do want the golf to be challenging, but you're right. It could be some crazy scores. Scotty is tied with Siwoo Kim and a logjam of other golfers at T3 Diesel, who include Robert McIntyre, Jason Day, Patrick Cantlay, Ben Griffin, Florida Gator, Sam Stevens, all within the top 10, top 12. So a lot of big names. Tom Hoagie, Jacob Bridgman. How about that? The Clemson Tiger, former Chapman Panther, T12 right now. Harris English, Will Zalatoris, T20. Russell Henley right there at T20. A lot of names that you do know,
So,
and I like that.
How far, take a guess, and this is not a trick question. It's not that far. But how far down the leaderboard do you have to go before you find a golfer that committed a bogey in this first round? A single bogey.
Well, based on the scores that I just read out, I'd say probably 50, T50.
No, it's not that.
Not that far. T25.
It's not that far.
T10.
T3.
Oh my God.
T3. Robert McIntyre tied for third at 9 under, and that puts him behind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other golfers. He is the first one on the list to have bogeyed a hole.
Wow.
Otherwise, it's all birdies. One of these guys, I think it was Scotty. Somebody. No, it wasn't Scotty. Sorry. Somebody had an eagle in their opening round. It was Vince Whaley. Either way. Eagle hole number 1, which is unbelievable because hole number 1 is a par 4, and that means he plunked his second shot.
Got the first one on the green, I mean, that's impressive. Maybe.
Depends on the hole.
Yeah.
Either that or it was just an amazing second shot.
It's pretty good. So, look, it is still January, right? And then we'll get to February and March, and the Masters will creep up on us. I told you earlier in the week that, I'm not a golf guy. I don't play golf, but I love watching it. And the Masters last year was my favorite sporting event of the entire calendar. So
it's a great sport to be around.
Well, I'm excited about it. I really am. I went to the PGA Tour last year. It's exciting to see. It's in Pennsylvania this year. I like going. I enjoy it. I just don't play. I just don't enjoy. maybe I'm need to start. We've talked about.
Would you enjoy going to a driving range and just whacking balls?
I think so.
For an hour.
I enjoy Top Golf.
Hey, it's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Whatever it takes to get you in, and then we slowly reel you in. Cole, maybe you should go downstairs and buy your own glove. Maybe you should.
No doubt.
Pick out a pitching wedge. That way you can get familiar with the club.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Just slowly reel you in. Tolos tomorrow is going to be an extremely short show as Furman basketball has moved up to 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock showtime. And then Birds boys basketball will be at 7 o'clock. So we'll be on for about an hour at 6 tomorrow.